Come. No need a break for me. Come. No need a cry for me. I'm in ground face. No one's gonna break me. So far, nobody can stop. No need a break for me. No need a cry for me. This is my face. No one's gonna break me.
What is up, everyone? This is D2 along with The Source, and you're watching the GCS Unofficial English broadcast. We are down to the final week of the regular season, which means we have 2 matches left for all of our teams, and this is obviously day 1 of that final week. Today we have HKA versus AHQ, and we have SMG versus Monster Shield. Now, these teams don't have anything against each other, but AHQ and SMG are certainly in a tight race for the 3rd and 4th spot in our playoff matchup, and they need to be on good footing going into the playoffs as they try to hold off the teams behind them and perhaps try to catch Flash Wolves in second. The Source getting down to the wire.
Yeah, unfortunately for HKA, this first matchup doesn't mean a whole lot for them in terms of standings. AHQ want to secure it so that they can hold on to their spot, keep one team in Mad who could still catch up to them from making those miracle runs and winning both of their sets. And obviously they want to kind of keep up pace with SMG, maybe even threaten Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and even though HKA and MS are our 2 bottom teams in the standings, I would say that MS has been pretty frisky. They've looked okay. I don't really expect them to defeat SMG, but they've at least looked okay and could put up a fight, whereas HKA has been kind of the sad sack of the league over the last several weeks here. Kind of the opposite story of SMG, who has just blazed through the standings as of the last several weeks. And we'll see who can maybe put up a better fight against the players, the favorites that they're going against, as we expect AHQ and SMG to win today's matches, but it is certainly important for both of the top teams to keep going, in particular AHQ, who hasn't looked the most solid lately.
Yeah, they've definitely been faltering, and you're right in comparison between HKA and Monster Shield. HKA had kind of a lackluster season. They never really showed any real growth, whereas Monster Shield, they got beaten down at the beginning, and we've definitely taken to the Monster Shield coach, where we've gotten to see them get very emotional at wins, but also just grow. You can tell that they're improving over time, that ever since they got to a point where they really weren't going to make it out of the season, they've taken that to heart and have used it to work on their skills, to try and come up with new compositions, not to waste the remaining time they have in the league so that they can possibly get back in down the road.
And they have a really great disposition. I remember when we cast them last time and they got a win, we had Mori and MG give each other about 35 high 10s at the end of that. We were like, what's going on now? Meanwhile, their coach is just the most jolly guy ever. When he's not, biting his nails watching the match because he wants his boys to win so badly. But we're taking a look at some of these rankings. Hanzo overtaking the MVP lead, and rightfully so, because he has been an absolute beast. But this has been such a fun ride throughout this series, and MS have really embraced that, whereas on the other hand, HKA have just continuously fallen down, and they just keep bringing the same players back over and over again. I don't want to harp on him too hard, but I kind of have to. The Wesker situation, where every single week they have him and they put him on a slow side lane marksman, which, the funny thing is, that's what the developers are trying to push as far as what they want to have players play, and yet it's still not helping Wesker.
Yeah, it shows. I think that their schedule has been cruel to them. The problem
12.
they've kind of had is every time they step up, every time they kind of look like they might be getting back on their feet, somebody comes in with a hammer, has a great day, and beats them back into the ground. They've got those 3 wins, but those 3 wins are spaced out in between a 7 series of losses. Whereas MS went on just these massive losing streaks and then got a miracle win and then massive losing streak and then miracle win. So, like, it's very interesting to see how that's kind of affected them. And to your point about Wesker, they've just kind of kept going back to the same well, strategy-wise. And even though it's shifting into what the meta could be, like, have we ever seen Outcast, one of their other possible laners who could have played Wesker's position?
I don't think. I think I saw.
I think we've seen 4 easy Basin Lancer mid Wesker, but I don't think we've ever seen Outcast.
I think I saw one game of. I think we saw Outcast last time. Actually, I think that's
Did
when
we?
Yeah, but we had Wesker as well, and they've rotated.
Okay, so they balanced it. Okay.
They've rotated Basin up because I don't remember having to say his name for a couple of weeks now since it's very.
Yeah, Garnet's been in for him pretty consistently.
The funny thing is, even though they're not playing today, the situation between One and Mad, if you had said that a couple of weeks ago One would be tied with Mad, I would have said, really? Really? I wouldn't have been completely shocked, but I would have been pretty surprised because just to see One fall off so hard and Mad actually start to catch up is pretty interesting. Now, they're the only 2 teams who can catch up to AHQ and SMG ahead of them, but with they're 2 games behind. And by that, I mean 2 losses and 2 wins, if you guys kind of look at sports scores, basically. If you're, like, 1 win is like a half game, essentially. So they're 2 games behind, and they have 2 games left, which means the magic number for both SMG and HQ to make the playoffs is 1 out of 4 matches, which means any win by AHQ or SMG will put them in the playoffs, and any loss by one team and Mad Team will put them in the playoffs as well, or at least prevent that particular team from getting to the playoffs. So it's going to be unlikely for one team and Mad Team to get in. And that means for both SMG and AHQ, they can secure their playoff spots right now. So, yeah. Now, that said, there is also an outside chance for SMG and AHQ, for that matter, to take over Flash Wolves, who have looked really bad as of late. They do play One, and after that they play against Flash Wolves play against AHQ and One. So if One defeats Flash Wolves somehow, which at this point certainly a possibility considering how they play, there is a road back in for SMG. But let's take a look at HK's lineup for Outcast, Easy, Basin, and Garnet. So they're mixing it up again. And
yeah, we get Outcast and Basin.
Yeah, I can't blame them. Wesker has not been helping. And I think last week was the final straw. He just got outplayed in the marksman solo lane, kind of, because the supports went off and roamed. And he lost the solo lane. And if you're the designated marksman solo laner and you're losing that part, then your spot is in a bit of trouble.
It's time to go back to the drawing board, man. Like, I don't know if it's time to hang it up, but he definitely needs to reevaluate his hero pool, start thinking more about kind of what he's bringing to the team and what he's lacking in the meta. Because like it's a very difficult question for a player, especially in a scenario like this where your strategy, your style of play is being slowly shifted into meta. We're seeing more melee junglers, we're seeing more marksmen be shifted to side lanes, and you're not keeping up. That's going to be a hard hit for him. So
do you think that it's possibly a situation where he's not used to other players mirroring or other teams mirroring him? It was kind of their pet strategy to have the backline marksman, and he was just unopposed in that role because his team would protect him, and then he'd just get to shell from the back line there. But we're going to take a look at the AHQ lineup: Sunrush, Hawk Chaser, and J-Jock. So, Pew out once again. We'll see if Chaser can hold on the fort.
I think Chaser will do.
What is that?
Yeah, Sun with that weird top knot. All right, Sun. You know, Sun can generally do what he wants. I will rarely question the prophet's son.
He's a pineapple today.
Yeah, he's channeling his inner SpongeBob. He's ready. What was I saying? No. That's actually a fair point. It could totally be possible that HKA and specifically Wesker doesn't know how to play the mirror matchup. Like doesn't know how to play those lane setups. Because I think the issue we've seen, specifically their problem is, it's a combination of things. I think when their jungling is weak, they can't put enough pressure on the map to the point where Wesker can comfortably build farm and oppress the side lane. And he probably isn't used to playing as many marksman side lanes because that's just not a skill, not necessarily a skill that isn't taught in Arena of Valor, but hasn't been needed for a while. So it's entirely possible that he's rusty. You combine that with the very aggressive jungle changes, with marksman being shifted out of the jungling from HKA not necessarily being as on point. If I'm looking at their games up against J Team from last week, they were running. Let's see, they ran Yorn. Oh, wait, they ran Tulin jungle?
Who are we talking about?
That again. HK's games last week.
I wouldn't.
Oh no, they were.
They ran some weird stuff. I remember.
Yeah, they ran some slims so they ran some double marksman shenanigans. They ran slims Valheim. That was one of the things they did that looked really weird. Because they were just kind of doubling down into that, and then Monster Shield picked the Zephyrs, and Monster Shield looked at them and was like, "Thank you very much."
Well, not only that, but I distinctly remember the Valheim losing to Lindis in lane. So,
yeah, Lindis. Lindis was not as good because she was so nasty in the jungle, but Lindis isn't bad. She gets to skip building the jungle item, so she gets straight into more of her build faster. And people have swapped that out most commonly for Blitzblade, which is a reasonably cheap, good attack speed, good generally early game item.
Yeah, you see these heroes who rely on attack speed and crits, they have really benefited from the last couple of patch changes where now you can build Blitzblade quickly, but you can also build all of the 3 crit items outside the blow of slaughter very, very quickly. So
yep.
you get those crits in, you get the attack speeded, and it's absolutely insane. By the way, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I figured out Tell's new build post-patch. It's the build. It's kind of it's kind of like Joker, right? Because Joker has one build. And so Tell, since you want to get magic damage, or you want to build AD for that magic damage, and you want crits, but you don't really want armor pierce. It's kind of a waste. And what was the other one? You can't really build that much lifesteal because you don't get that much of it. So what ends up being is Blitzblade, which can be Fafnir's, but I like just Blitzblade better. But Blitzblade into War Boots. It can be Enchanted Kicks, but War Boots probably just better. And then into Claves, into Boa Slaughter, and then Fenrir's and Blade of Eternity. And then you're getting 50% crits off, or 45% crits off. You get enough lifesteal just to keep you up because you need at least some. And then you're doing massive damage, and it's pretty nuts. Any case,
do you think you could slot that lifesteal into Purple Arcana and kind of forego pushing the extra lifesteal? You can get 15% out of Arcana, I think.
Perhaps, but I think that having Purple's the middle.
Yeah, Gorilla's so good.
Yeah, but but the funny thing with Tell, which I want to try, but I don't have the money, or I don't have the Arcana for it. Not totally, is you go Atrocity and Flurry. And Atrocity and Flurry is absolute. It's that doesn't even make any sense in your mind when you think about it at first, but it's absolutely nuts.
Oh no, I forgot to add Richter.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, sorry, I haven't been talking about the draft. Bans are very standard, extremely standard these days. So if you guys are studying what to ban going forward, that's what you ban. But we have a Valheim first pick, which is strange. Followed by Yebeneth Raz, which is good. Followed by Crush Liliana, which is good as well. And then we have a Yorn Hover. So everything in this draft is normal except for the Valheim and potentially this Yorn so far.
Yeah. I mean, taking the Valheim, to me, that signifies that they're aware they're gonna have to play the marksman side lane, and they're also betting on HKA playing it, even if it's not necessarily Wesker. I think that they were kind of looking to get that result because HKA, even if Wesker doesn't play, like isn't in, now that it's become more meta, you could still see HKA play that because they're comfortable with that general strategy.
I am not in favor of Murad Nakroth these days. It just seems like it falls flat in its face too often. I would much rather see Zephys in these situations. But we'll see how HKA tries to do it. Didn't work out last time.
Yeah, I'm more okay with Necroth if you have high sources of damage elsewhere. I think that's been the issue. We've seen too many Necroths be played in low damage compositions.
Wait. Roxy made it to first ban of the mid part of the draft? I just noticed that. Because they just... Wait a second, no one picked Roxy.
I guess because the priority was on the mage control, and you took the side laner with the Valheim who is okay versus Roxy, and then HK got the Yebeneth, so they were like, fine, we don't care. And they wanted to secure themselves a melee assassin jungler when Kriknak was taken off the board, and then you're looking at the Necroth. So, like...
I think this might be just a bad draft from AHQ. Anyway, on the other hand, HKA hovered Yorn for a long time before selecting Murad, and then AHQ's like, okay, we'll ban Yorn then. So, no, that has to be dealt with for HKA. The Malok is their last ban here in the middle part of the draft. And finally... We'll see what HQ was going to ban here. Going to be banning the Violet. So, even though if Violet were picked, it would be a side laner. They still go ahead and take that out because they want to have the dominance of Valheim in the side lane, which does lead to a pickup from Omen. And AHQ has kind of boxed themselves in a little bit. What do they have here to choose? They have like a Dioma. They can pick like maybe like a Wonder Woman. If they've been practicing Amelie,
they can still take Marja, whose lane versus the Yebeneth isn't terrible.
True.
Or against the Omen, like that kind of can balance. Ooh, okay. So really, I didn't think they'd go down this road because that's an SMG special. But
no, it's not Silent Zill. It's jungle.
Oh, my brain's like, yeah, SMG. That's Silent Zill. But okay. So taking Arduin for aggressive dive frontline, you're gonna combine that with the Zill and the Liliana. You're gonna let the Kresh do his thing, and you're gonna trust in the Valheim to just not get himself killed. This is actually a fairly AHQ-esque strategy. Like, we've got a good team fight strategy. We still got some tower pushing. We don't really leave anything open.
Ooh.
We've covered all of our bases in terms of tank, dive, assassination. The tell. Okay, let's see if they run your build. I'm down.
I hope they do, but last time we saw Tell on HKA, I believe it was, or I forgot what team it was, but it was very, very different. They didn't go for a crit until like the 5th item, and it made me very sad.
Yeah, that was bad news. That was bad news. Let's see. Still, I'm catching up on the draft because I was a little bit behind because I was clicking through my draft spreadsheet and I realized I forgot to add Richter.
No.
And everything was ruined.
So both sides actually have a lot of magic damage if you consider the crits from Tell, and obviously on AHQ they have 2 mages plus, even if you build Valheim AD, a third of his damage is still going to be magic. There's some magic damage in Arduin as well, if you guys didn't know. So lots of magic damage on both sides.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to see this. This to me screams really. Not necessarily bloody fighting in the sense that the teams are going to be really aggressive in that fighting sense. That's its own separate avenue, but there's going to be more damage than I think people are prepared for. I think people get very surprised by how much magic damage tends to stick more than AD just because of the number of sources of magic defense in the early portion of the game. You get hit with that stuff pretty hard, like Blinding Light, Shining Light. Just that combo is so potent that hurts. Combine that with the fact that the Zill, if he's in a good position, if he catches out a squishy. Composition to composition, I would say AHQ's covers the bases better, but HKA's has slightly higher playmaking potential. Their team fight is actually pretty freaking terrifying. Like you set up really good angles with Yebedeth, and Garnet is given free reign to do damage. That's one thing, but I don't know. I guess it comes down to how much you trust in Easy's Raz to be high playmaking, how much you trust in 4 to be high playmaking, and for them to not get tilted and kind of fall down in their performance versus AHQ, who, despite not necessarily being at the top of their game, are still very dangerous.
Yeah, and this feels like a setup that AHQ can perform much better. It was kind of a train wreck forcing the Fennec through so many games in a row. So we'll see.
This is interesting.
What's interesting?
Sun is on the Valheim.
Yeah, I was expecting that. Sorry.
Well, I'm just thinking about what that changes for their playmaking strategy, and I actually really like it.
He's played Valheim in his, or at least I've seen on his VODs when he played that. So he's comfortable with that. And Chaser has always been your typical, front line, like your second frontline character, your off tank when he's playing the sideline heroes as he goes into Outcast. Outcast doesn't have his ultimate quite yet. If they can get it before he gets it off and they get the kill on an Outcast, what incredible timing. Here comes a tornado from Rush as well. It's a nearly takedown base suit. And oh my goodness, that snap call from AHQ, seeing that he didn't have the temporal turbulence yet and just jumping on him, and there was nowhere to run there for Outcast as he had already used his dash in order to try to secure that monster.
And that right there is that early magic damage. Those early, also you add in a little bit of Chaser's true damage, but that's gonna be a nice knock up onto Easy for keeping multiple targets good.
J-Jock.
That's a nice Redwood rush. J-Jock is being brought down by Garnet. That's the re-engage that the guys from HKA wanted, but a great play, shining light, blinding light combo in from Hawk. Here comes Rush, cutting through the entire team. Outcast is surely going to go down. He's gonna try and dash away, and they will pick up that kill. Rush can play a mean Zill. I love this new assassin meta. Like, let's keep this.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Rush, just play these heroes. Why are you playing the Fennec, which gets you in trouble so often? And you saw HKA just running in. It's like, yeah, you killed J-Jack, but you used your ability cooldowns on him, and on top of that, everyone's healthy. And Hawk says, yeah, you dead. Let me just blinding light, shining light combo you into the ground. And even if he hadn't done that, Rush was already in their face with all of his cooldowns as well. So worst case scenario, HK put themselves in a situation where they were going to lose multiple heroes.
Hawk? I don't know. Hawk was kind of fishing for that one. I very much berate a lot of teams for taking fights they think they can take without having all of their ultimates online, especially around that 2 to 3 minute mark. Why do it? But we do see Chaser being locked down by Basin. The Death Embrace was there. Nice Death Beckon. Here comes Outcast. The Chaser is surviving. He's going to get the knock-up. He's going to survive this. Here comes Rush. He's going to instantly engage on the Outcast. Gets him with the Tornado. Should be able to continue to chase. One more slow comes in with those glaives. And that is going to be, or cleavers, or God. AHQ attacking every portion of the map.
Yeah, people forget that there's this passive called Bloodlust that Arduin has, where he gets a lot of health.
They're going to engage onto 4. They could still kill him.
Yeah, well, kind of true, but he has his Nature's Realm up, so he's not going to die anytime soon. But, yeah, Arduin is very, very tanky. He stays alive for a long time, and there's a reason why they picked Chaser into the Omen, because you put that Death Embrace on him, as long as he has his Bloodlust passive still up, he is not dying, not even to a Murad.
I mean, also throwing that true damage, like, that makes it really difficult to deal with him. There's a bunch of damage you rarely expect to deal with.
Yeah,
so
and you pop your shield. This is the other thing that people don't realize against Arduin, because they never play against him. When he pops his shield, he does true damage, and he resets the cooldown for Cole. So you're just setting up yourself to die if you just attack into him. And unfortunately, that's what Omen likes to do.
Oh, is that a dead Yebedeth? That's 4 at half health. They get some good damage in. Nature's Realm will keep him alive, but he's sitting there getting ready to eat a Reiki shot. Good Redwood Rush away, but are they going to re-engage on the Basin? They slow him down. Chaser is cutting off the angle. It's mostly just going to turn into this buff steal. Unless the members of HK think they can go in. Outcast goes in, gets knocked back. Did he secure the buff? No. It ended up going over to Hawk, who got it over the wall. J-Jock will jump out. A full team collapse and a proper steal from the side of AHQ.
Yeah, I like that from AHQ, not trying to dive under the towers when they didn't need to. Basin takes a
Oh.
oh my goodness. But yeah, Chasers just finding him out, searching him out under these situations. And AHQ not overextending. I love this. They go back, they just take what they can. And even this situation, they're like, okay, well, if you're going to spend 4 here to be on the Abyssal Dragon, we're going to get something else done and take this tower. And they're going back to their World Championship days roots when they just play the map. They play the macro game. And despite the Abyssal Dragon going over to HKA, AHQ still pulls ahead.
The other thing here is we haven't seen Sun under the same kind of pressure this game. He's already got Fafnir's at about 5 minutes into the game. You compare that up against the Talanis, who is down by about 800 gold to him. There's a couple of opportunities. Oh. That's going to be a Redwood Rush. Did the buff get stolen? It looks like it was secured by Sun. Actually, he walked in there, threaded one nice auto attack in there and stole that away.
Are you sure? That's the
yes.
blue buff. That's the blue buff.
Oh yeah, that's the blue buff. But Hawk is going to get hit with that Death Embrace. He's going to go down. Rush
Tornado
now goes in with the tornado, but doesn't really connect onto a whole lot. That was some good jukes out, but Easy taking a bunch of damage. Nice juke out by Rush. Meanwhile, in the top half of the map, they drop another tower. So AHQ, they sacrifice one and pick up an objective.
This is really good play from Rush, because the thing is, a lot of Zill players, a lot of inexperienced Zill players will just walk in, do your initial combo, and pull Tornado, and then you're done, right? But he's being able to play around it. It's kind of like playing a Murad and not always relying on your Temporal Turbulence, as he's able to get out there.
Oh my goodness. He's caught them out. Rush finds another kill. A great bait by Chaser. Now we see Sun putting pressure onto Easy. He's going to keep him there. And now the play on to 4, they should be able to slow him down.
Oh, nice bait.
Considering going in, good bait out. They managed to get the Nature's Realm out from 4. And J-Jock, keep him busy. Red Rush forward. He's going to take a bunch of additional damage. They don't have the necessary poke to be able to follow up, but they've got the wave pushing in the top lane, and AHQ attacking on all fronts will convert a little bit of pressure into another objective.
Yeah, they're just kind of all over the place here now. Is AHQ opening up that 5,000 gold lead, as we do have the Abyssal Dragon coming up. The Dark Slayer coming up in about 35 seconds here, so they're taking control of this map slowly but surely. Sun taking a chunk of damage, but they're still fine here, as the only thing left to do right now in order to really open up this game is take down these mid towers.
Yep, and with Sun, they should be able to siege that at a reasonable range. He is building a little bit tankier, so that'll be nice for him. And build-wise, what about Outcast?
Well, he just can't do anything. He's just going back to his farm, his measly little monsters jumping in the center and not getting any heroes with his Temporal Turbulence, just a bunch of minions, and they're getting choked out. Anyway, go ahead.
He is 1-4-1. He's had a bad day. Rush has done a really good job of making his day really horrible, although it does look like they are about to get an Abyssal Dragon. So that could be a really good objective for them. There won't be enough time for the members of AHQ to collapse.
I would say AHQ should just take the Dark Slayer if they realize that this was happening, but they are doing that.
Yeah, and I don't know if HK is going to be fast enough to do this. They were a little bit slow on deciding to do this, but they are burning it down very, very quickly. Sun does very good damage. Now the members of HK have realized it, but it is still not down. Are they going to be able to get there in time? No, they will secure it. Now, the engagement onto 4, Death's Embrace onto Sun. That's going to keep him there for a little while. Basin is taking good damage. That was a huge Reiki shot onto 4, but he manages to survive. Hawk into the backline. They're doing a really good job of splitting up this fight on the side of HKA. Basin is just baiting 2 members. He will go down. Here comes Outcast. Chaser deep into the back line. Outcast, is he going to survive? No, he gets brought down. So it ends up being a 3-for-2 in favor of HKA with very good team fighting, but the objective is still in the hands of AHQ. And did the Drake go on to Rush?
Not sure.
I don't know.
Well, so you can throw out the Drake even if you die. You just have to be alive to do it. You can't do it while you're dead. That was the mistake that I made earlier. So
okay.
You can pop it, but you can't pop it while you're lying on the floor on the battlefield.
The more you know. Well, Rush had it anyway. So he got himself out of dodge. Made sure they were always going to have that up.
Good job by 4 and Basin to split up the fight and make sure that they were taking the brunt and just distracting the back members of AHQ. That's the kind of fight they want to take going forward, but they did have the advantage going into it. Other than the regen that they had, they just had their cooldowns basically up for that entire time. So look for HKA to try to get those advantages going forward, whereas AHQ wants to fight under better circumstances. So AHQ realizing that taking this mid tower down, probably better for them than trying to go for the high ground tower. Opens the map up quite a bit, as HKA is just going to go ahead and burn it down. HQ is not going to go for a whole lot more than that. They still hold on to a 4,000 gold lead, so perhaps they can keep going. But I'm liking Garnet's build thus far. Goes into attack speed and immediately into that crit, so you can get those magic damage crits. And now it looks like she's building into either Devil's Handshake or Slick Sting, so that's nice as well. Oop, Metamorphosis comes in. Can they take this tower in time? Outcast trying to get as many auto attacks as he can so he can pop that tower for Turbulence, but it's perfectly fine for them as they do not take the tower.
Yeah, Outcast fishing for his opportunity to find a kill, but just a slight bit of repositioning. I don't think the members of HK were ready for this. AHQ steps underneath the tower. They will not secure it now, but that's a lot of damage on the easy. He eats one more auto attack, but it wasn't a crit. There wasn't enough damage there to take him down, so he'll walk away from that. Now, pressure in the mid lane, set up by Chaser. Is she going to drop this tower fairly easy? Outcast gets bursted. Outcast gets deleted. No, he survives. He managed to blink back. He gets very low, but he survives by the skin of his teeth. Now, 4 very low body shots being eaten by Basin. Just so much damage coming out from Hawk. They have not gone for the Enraged Abyssal Dragon, but AHQ are just biding their time. It's only a matter of time before they find another opportunity and break the high ground.
I like that they took down the second tier tower in the mid lane, though, because that gives HKA so little room with which to fight, because even if they try to retreat to that tower, obviously it's gone now, so this will give AHQ so much more ability to fight around this Enraged Abyssal Dragon, and there could be a flank, as we have 3 members on the middle of the map here for HQ, and this is what having towers does for you. They can set up shop over there, and they're not in any danger whatsoever unless there's a complete dive from the side of HKA. So HQ putting the fear into that.
No, Hawk gets caught!
What? Hello?
One good death to Brazen. Easy goes deep. He manages to find the kill. Can he get out of there? He'll be brought down by Chaser. Now in the middle of the map, that's going to be J-Jock going in, but here comes Rush. He's got more than enough damage. Fort has been brought down. Outcast can manage to get himself out of there, but right when the members of HKA thought they had a play going, AHQ catches up to them. Now a little bit more pressure on the Outcast, but I don't really see J-Jock catching him, and a rip 2 for 2 across the board.
Yeah. HKA, obviously that wasn't on the main screen, so I didn't catch that, but great job taking advantage of that opportunity to jump the members of HQ when they didn't see it coming, but great reaction from HQ back, realizing what had just happened and getting the damage back on to HKA and evening out that fight here. Rush trying to be annoying. The most gold on the side of HKA belongs to Telana, so look for those crits to come in. She did build Slick Sting, building into more damage at the moment, so magic crits coming in on the side from Garnet. So she's left alone. She'll be chunking through the side of HQ.
Honestly, Rush is a monster. He stole that buff, dropped Outcast to 1 hit, and walked away scot-free. He's got a really terrifying build. It's basically all damage. He could probably assassinate anybody on that team, but we do see the Enraged Abyssal Dragon start. This is a good timing for HKA. Nobody from AHQ has seen it until now, but now they're going to collapse in. It's already too late, but Chaser goes deep into the backline. He's going to drop 1 down base and gets knocked up. There's the Temporal Turbulence, but it does basically nothing. 4 is caught in the middle. Rush is cutting through them, and now they should be able to begin the chase. J-Jock with the slow. Hawk not going to dive over the wall. They don't want to commit to this. They managed to get 1 kill and didn't lose anybody. They're going to now rotate this into possibly a Darkslayer play.
Yeah, I like AHQ's restraint there, because if they jumped in 1 at a time, which is what would have happened if they tried to jump the wall there, then they would have gotten taken down 1 at a time. And so they said, well, they're on the retreat, they have their cooldowns. Unless we execute this perfectly, which is unlikely, they're likely to be able to get the re-engage back onto us, then we can just turn around and get this Dark Slayer. We got them low, that's the best we can do, and this is going to turn out pretty well for them, all things considered. They actually ended up getting the the bottom lane high ground tower, so they do have that map control to their side, as the Abyssal buff. 30 seconds left on it. There could be a re-engage from HKA on the members if AHQ goes too far forward. 4 takes a lot of damage. Pops the Nature's Realm already, but that was to take out the mass of siege minions that had built up there. Now focusing onto this mid tower is HKA is AHQ, and they go in, and Basoon is getting so much damage. I don't know what he's doing in the front lines there for HKA, and now the focus is on to this high ground tower in the top lane. They're likely to go down. Outcast taking so much damage, and he goes down as well. This map is completely opening up here for AHQ, and this might be a matter of time. Can they end it right here?
I think that this is probably over. They've got one more wave. Should be able to step up here underneath
Flicker
the tower.
Chaser.
4 goes forward. 4 is gone. Sun goes deep. He's going to put pressure on the Garnet. They get a lot of damage onto Easy. He gets back into the fountain. Actually, every member from HKA managed to survive that somehow. 4. Oh, 4.
Not anymore, yeah.
It was a valiant effort, friend, but that's not going to hold. The super minions are here. I mean, Easy, he's putting up as much of a fight as humanly possible. That's going to be game 1 going over to AHQ.
Well played at the end, throughout the game there from AHQ, just completely taking it to them. From that first kill on Murad through the end of the game, they completely controlled that fight, that match. And the entire time, Outcast just wasn't a factor. And this is the issue we see with Murad's. Teams are just too good at countering it. And Rush just played that Zill immaculately, and it makes me all the more frustrated that we've seen so much Fennec out of him lately. If he can do that, then AHQ is a different team.
I think they're probably just. I think that they went into some study sessions. They were training. They were looking at the drafts and all of the information. They realized that they could do something like that. I think it's been a really rough transition for teams to get away from the marksman 80 carry.
Garnet most damage in the game. Magic damage crits magic damage
pad them stats. Them numbers be high. I mean, Garnet almost killed a lot of targets. That initial play that got them that kill that turned pretty sour on them was off of Garnet's damage.
Right, and the sad thing for Garnet was he was getting the damage in, but by the time he could even kill people or wipe them out, the front line was just gone. It's like, oh, I guess I gotta get out of here. But the damage was certainly there. Garnet was doing work. But speaking of doing work, so was Rush. Very good on that Zill. Just little things here and there. He knew exactly what his win stacks were at all times so that he can get the extra teleport out or in, as it were, and just playing that hero to perfection. I don't know if you guys have played much Zill, but it's very hard to finish a game with 0 deaths.
Yeah, no, Zill's not an easy character to play. It takes a lot of skill. I'd probably say it's the most mechanical character in AoV. Because it has the highest potential to move in and out of a fight if properly microed. I actually don't think there's anybody who can dash as many times as he can or has as many ways to maneuver. So
right, and the funny thing is, the thing that makes him so hard to use is because his resets are predicated upon interacting with the enemy, whereas Murad is like playing solitaire. You just kind of go in and do your thing and then run out and then do it again. Whereas Zill, when he gets the extra teleport, he actually has to have those marks on the enemy in order to be able to do so. So all of these times where he gets those extra teleports, that's him perfectly setting it up for himself in order to make that happen. Yeah.
No, it was this is what we need to see. Oh god, that's just brutal. Chaser baited them so long. This right here was HKA's best fight. They split things up really, really well. At the end of the day, it didn't end up mattering that much because, I mean, they also just ripped Chaser apart at the end of that fight. That right there was the edge. It was a flicker Death Race that caught out.
Yeah. Also, Chaser's flicker forwards were so good throughout that game, and I honestly like this so much better from him because we've seen so much Malok where he just shocks in and the team's already gone. His flicker forwards, his timings on that are absolutely amazing. And if he can make plays by himself without relying on his entire team to jump in or relying on the other team to kind of make a mistake and fall into his shock, then I think that's the role that you really want to see Chaser on.
Yeah, no, Chaser played really well. He looked far more comfortable. I think that's what this was for AHQ. AHQ looked comfortable. They didn't look like they were under any stress to play their characters in any way they weren't comfortable with. They didn't look like they needed to do anything crazy to make any given plays. Everybody was in the right place at the right time. The communication looked good. The timing was impeccable when it came to their invades and their coordination on where they wanted to be targeting wise. And the only fight they lost was because HKA caught them exiting the Darkslayer pit in a weird configuration.
Well, we have seen this from AHQ before. They've shown us extremely good game number ones and then struggled thereafter. So I really want to see AHQ bring their A game once more in the second game here. And no struggles to the finish line like we've seen in matches past. That said, that was a very solid lineup and wasn't relying on any sort of gimmicks like the Fennec. So we'll have to see if they can put it together here once more and take out HKA, take care of business. All right, starting out this draft, a bit of a mix-up with the Crush ban here. HKA not wanting to deal with that anymore. The Ignis and Richter have become pretty standard as far as bans are concerned. Now, will we see a Kriknak or Yebeneth? Okay, going to see the Kriknak here. And that leaves open the Lindis, and HKA immediately snaps it up.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying about marksman junglers not necessarily being the meta anymore. Doesn't mean you can't play them. It's just the number of them has been reduced. Violet is no longer that great of a marksman jungler, or if you do play her, it is a little bit awkward. Ooh, we might be about to see.
Son,
okay.
Do it.
I was actually excited to see the Wisp because if it was Sun, I would really like to see how he positions that character. But it will not be so. We won't be that lucky. And it's just going to be Valheim Raz, which, as far as getting those top mages goes, Raz and Liliana are considered the top right now over in the GCS, so got no real issue with any of that. And nothing's really been shown. We're basically just kind of looking at standard picks.
Well, what AHQ is showing is that they're not afraid of the Yebeneth. Now, the Yebeneth on the Yebeneth was annoying, but it wasn't game changing.
It wasn't a factor.
Yeah.
It didn't strictly matter. That could have been a Mina or a Thane or a bunch of other characters, and it still would have equaled the same amount of not necessarily that helpful. You could say another character could have given a different effect, but if Yebeneth isn't getting the job done, would you really think that someone else will?
No, I'm saying the Yebeneth wasn't bad, but AHQ made it as little a factor as you'll see in professional matches. Where once they try to bait out the Nature's Realms, they did so quite often. And when they didn't, once it went off, they played around it by splitting up, by just exiting the area. And yeah, that's kind of a win for Yebeneth, but he wasn't being ridiculous. He wasn't killing people. He wasn't setting up the fight for his team with Nature's Realm. He was fine, though. He was still annoying. AHQ had to still avoid his Nature's Realm, and he would stay alive for way longer than he has any right to. So that's the reason why HK picked him again. He wasn't necessarily the problem, but HQ are saying, well, it kind of messes with our own playstyle. We figured out how to play against it, so we're going to let it through.
All right, so
once more, Roxy makes it through to the second ban, which we haven't seen lately. She's been pretty powerful in the GCS and RPL for that matter. But
I think it's because so many other things are making it through the draft. Like, or more actually, I think people have come up with other things to play in those lanes to the point where they're not as scared of Roxy. She's still definitely good, so she's earning a ban, but I don't know. I guess her priority has gone down because people are coming up with new priorities when it comes to their damage dealers, because we've seen both marksmen and mages being picked in the first half of the draft.
Yeah, and it seems like for AHQ, their answer to these difficult to deal with side laners is to just put Sun and Valheim and make their life a living hell. Now, looks like HK is going back to the Murad Well. Can they make it work this time? If this is a one-trick pony thing and Garnet can only play the Murad, this might spell trouble for them because AHQ dealt with that very well.
Yeah, they had no trouble shutting it down early. You've got what looks like a very similar style of composition. You're still, you don't have the Metamorphosis, but you're going to have Mina, who's dangerous. You're going to still have the Zill, the Valheim. Hawk is going to be just as terrifying on Raz as he is on Liliana when it comes to poke and the ability to engage and make plays. The Marja comes out to kind of preempt giving them a slightly stronger side lane, which I'm not against for HKA. But yeah, that Murad looks like a concern.
I'm proud of us for not falling for the Omega bait. You know for 100% certain that someone from Team HKA is watching this stream right now. Not the official stream, literally this English broadcast, and they're like, "Can we get him? Can we get him with the bait?" We didn't fall for it. Take that, HKA.
No, we're not gonna fall. We're not gonna fall for that one. HQ or HKA.
These teams can never play each other again. By the way, these acronyms are throwing me off so hard.
It is kind of the worst, but it'll be okay.
HKA is Hong Kong Attitude. What does HQ even stand for? I've never even known idea. This. And I've known about this team for a while too because they've been in a lot of other games. So
yeah, no, they've been around a long time, and I don't think I've ever known what the acronym stood for.
It could just be like a Chinese name, and they have the Romanization of those words, and then they make it in acronym or something.
Oh, it's more than possible. I just, for the life of me, I do not know.
Okay, so Sun is going to be on the Xenial this time because he is a Xenial master apparently, as we saw before. He turns an unfavored matchup against Marja into a favored matchup somehow. Which means that Chaser this time is on the Valheim, which we haven't really seen a whole lot from.
I mean, with Valheim, despite my complaints about the double slow, with tank bruiser on hit Valheim being the standard, honestly, I feel it's very easy for people to play him because he is far more forgiving. Than just a pure squishy marksman Valheim would be. So it's the kind of thing where I'm not worried about Chaser, especially after how well he just played that previous game. He took a bunch of, he had a couple of Sun-esque moments where two people came to kill him, and he managed to avoid it. He managed to draw two people in and bait them for an extended period of time.
I can just see AHQ sending Chaser to boot camp while Pew subbed in for him for a while. He's like, "You're going to learn these heroes, and then when you come back, we'll be better than ever."
I mean, that is a strategy. You need to do that with a player. You try and get them into a better state so that they can widen up their hero pool. You bring in somebody who can play it in the meantime, and you see whether or not that player can improve.
All right. Well, it looks like double, or at least Sun's punish used here for rushed, as well as his shield to blow it up. So Rush immediately rushing through this jungle as quickly as possible. And we have a setup here with Sun in the Abyssal lane, which puts him at a pretty big disadvantage against Garnet at the moment. Meanwhile, though, in this top lane, J-Jock roaming over, and they have the Chaser Basin matchup, which is not really favored for either player here.
I think you'll accept the situation in the bottom lane just solely because it's Sun, and he's probably not going to die to the Lindis. And that's actually a huge engagement onto 4. They already have the Tornado on Rush. This team is so fast at 1 minute 22 seconds. They've outsped Outcast when it comes to that farm, using that punish, getting that extra damage in there. They burn through the jungle, instantly pick up a kill.
Yeah, that goes to show how much you can do when you can throw off your opponents with that timing. Hawk taking a big Shining Light to the face there, so has to back off. And, oh, Chaser, hello! He's like, Sun is not the only side laner who can make plays. Look at this. I'm going to hunt you down in your own lane and take you out. That's the second blood there from AHQ.
I mean... Chaser went in the hyperbolic time chamber. Where has this man been? And where, Can I go there to get better at this game? Because that was insane. Now we see a play here onto the Abyssal Dragon. I think Rush... There was a minute there where I was like, I think Rush will still go in on this and try and make the play. But I guess without having J-Jock to 4... Yeah, Hawk was low. J-Jock wasn't level 4, didn't have the Dark Dominion. So that's a fair... that is the timing issue you run into on that first Abyssal Dragon. If your supports have got their ultimates, you can take your fights a lot safer. HQ didn't have that, and HKA was already in position, already had health bar advantage. That's a fair choice.
Well, 4 does reach 4 at the moment, as his name continues to bamboozle me. But but he gets there. Basin taking quite a bit of damage. No, it is Marsha, so she can heal back up. But Chaser, every time... This is really
Chaser
good play
solo killed him already.
Right.
You can't... there is no safe place for that Marja.
Well, Marja relies on the minions in order to heal back up, and Chaser's not letting that happen. It's like, no, these are my minions. They're my babies. You are not going to heal up on them unless I say so, and I'm never saying so. You're going to take some damage on the backside if you even try. And it's just good bullying on his side.
So well, that was good vision play from HKA to avoid. Look at Chaser. This is brutality at its finest. Chaser, I mean, honestly, he could be stalling the wave harder, but he'd rather engage. So instead of hard stalling the wave, he's just picking a fight. Now we're going to see 4 walk into this brush. He's going to get power surge, knocked up, hooked back, KO punch. They don't have enough to just straight finish him. And I'm surprised that Rush didn't pop ultimate, even with the Nature's Realm. I think that at that moment he stops moving. You kill him.
Yeah, I can see why he didn't want to pop the ultimate, because it's 4 or it's Yevoneth, and he can stay alive for a long, long time. I think Rush was anticipating the ults coming out from him, and they were just trying to bait it out right before this Abyssal Dragon comes up. And 4, to his credit, kept steady. He didn't fall for the bait, and even though he went extremely low on health, he decided to get out of there. Now he's full health for this fight. Does have the Nature's Realm still to his side. And the fact that Sun's here means this is a very difficult fight for HK or for AHQ to take. It's easy taking a lot of damage, getting pushed back.
They got him.
Whoa, my goodness. No! Power Surge does not connect. Chaser just going to take down the tower while all this is going down. So AHQ just not really prioritizing these Abyssal Dragons because it's tough for them. And he just takes him down with the help of Rush. But AHQ, again, not prioritizing the Abyssal Dragons, saying, you know what? We're probably going to lose these fights. Let's not try to take them. And let's just give the runaround on them on the side of HKA.
Yeah, and this is a slightly more damaging build coming out from Chaser. He's already finished Blitzblade. Looks like he's going into his Fafnir's. And now that they've dropped one tower, it looks like they're going to try maybe set up onto a second one. That's 4, very, very low. They get the Nature's Realm out of him. Hawk manages to get out of there. There's some additional damage on their Garnet. Nice power surge coming out from Hawk. J-Jock will eat some additional damage over the side, and because they're winning top, they're okay giving up the Abyssal Dragons. Eventually, I expect them to swap the lanes out with the side laners and give that Xenial presence the ability to kind of rotate in. But at the same time, Chaser is kind of just farming Basin and just, building up the damage. Now Sun getting fairly low. Outcast, he tries to finish him. Good shield, gets under the tower, but Garnet will finally get that kill. I mean, Lane just can't do it alone, but you throw in a Murad there, and, Sun can't survive everything.
Yeah, and you have to imagine a lot of that had to do with his Leviathan not really being farmed out all that much. Can't really farm it up in the situation he's in on this side of the map with no small monster nearby.
Here's Rush.
Trying to get onto 4 here. Pops the... Oh, not Tornado yet. There is the Redwood Rush here. Can they take him out? 4 healing up a tiny bit. He's going to hold on. Is this tower going to fall? No, they're going to be able to take out the Siege Minion just in time. 1 second. That's a bit of easy. Good night. Oh my goodness.
Easy. Easy game, easy life. I mean, just a flank in from Chaser. He was waiting in the brush. That's it. One stun is all it takes. Even
so, that seemed like pretty bad positioning because there was not a teammate to be found in the vicinity there. It's like, guys, hello.
No, that was unfortunate. Freezy, here's the lane swap we expected. That's going to give AHQ a second tower. They should be able to rotate themselves into mid. They can now keep Xenial split off from the team. They can angle themselves towards the bottom half of the map. They're securing some Abyssal Dragons as well. And so far, AHQ minus, the one misplay from Sun just getting a little over aggressive, they are keeping pretty good control over this game.
Yeah, and I love the way that they're playing. They're going back to the roots. They're going back to their heavy macro play, giving up the Abyssal so that they can take other advantages elsewhere. Easy taking quite a bit of damage here as Hawk and Jjock shark around this area, trying to lord over it. Easy gets a nice shining light, but not enough to really do damage here to Hawk. And both sides just kind of messing around here. As the left side of our map here, what's going on over here? Basin taking a lot of damage, has to use the Ghost Walk out, but takes a lot of damage on the backside. Chaser, unfortunately, can't RNG that yellow stun, but able to get him extremely low anyway. Meanwhile, the bottom tower gets taken out. Xenial, Sun had to back up there. Rush taking some damage here from 4. Outcast is going to rotate over, but so too are AHQ. There's a Dark Tip minion on the Outcast. They delete him. He is gone. 4 taking ton damage too, but so is Jjock. Are they able to take him out? Down goes Jjock to Easy. She flickers away into that Fox Form, but there is Sun on the aggression. Takes him out. Down goes 4 as well. Ghostwalk comes in. Rush. Is he going to be able to stay alive? Garnet tries to take him out, but taking so much damage himself. Hawk goes in and finishes him off and takes them out too, but he doesn't even go down to the tower. What? And then he's attacking the monkey. Don't attack the monkey. What are you doing? You did enough.
Don't attack the monkey. Oh, what a play.
Oh my goodness.
We've been saying that they've been kind of faltering here and there. This is them back to their roots. This is beyond, this is them in rare form. They are good, but some of those plays were just calculated down to the second of perfection, and this is what they're gonna need to beat the rising SMG, to be able to solidify wins over Flash Wolves and J Team. This is gonna be a crazy playoffs. If this is the HQ we get in playoffs, I have no idea who's gonna come out of this. I did say SMG is gonna win it all, but
yeah, it's very tough.
I'm not going back on my word, but I'm reconsidering my analysis.
And the crazy thing is this could be the first round of the playoffs, speaking of AHQ and SMG.
True.
But the thing is, talking about AHQ, easy. Nearly took a Dark Dominion there. But what's so different about them is every player is on a hero that they're extremely comfortable with. We're not seeing any crazy Sun and Crest nonsense like before. They're saying, we're good enough that we can play non-meta heroes potentially, and these heroes are meta enough, just so we can have everyone comfortable, and everyone is making plays. You wouldn't even know.
From Sun!
Wow, Sun getting on top of Garnet here, trying to make happen. Garnet's able to get away, they'll get the damage in, but in the meantime, they take down Outcast. So what to do? Does Hawk follow? Basin is gone as well, trying to put damage on a 4 here. He's not long for this world. Jjock, wow, good night. The entire HKA team. Jjock stalls them long enough, gets out just in time for his team to follow up with the damage, and they take out all members. That's an ace for AHQ. And exactly what I was mentioning earlier. Everyone is comfortable making plays. And if it's not Hawk, it's Chaser. If it's not Chaser, it's Sun. If it's not Sun, it's Rush. And when you have 5 capable playmakers on your team, it's a scary proposition.
What's most terrifying about that last play was that was a flank in 2 styles. You had the global flank, and then you just had Jjock finding an opportunity to really reposition and then flicker underneath the tower and get one more hook in. I don't know. I can't think of a single team in any league who can just.
Oh my god! I'm sorry.
Deal with that.
I'm sorry. Look at the fear build here from Basin. He's going Barris into the Aegis. Oh, could you?
I mean, the man has died a lot. The man has had a bad day.
Yeah, he also has 45. He has 45% CDR. That's not a planned build. That's I'm scared build because that Aegis was not planned.
Man does not want to die. Okay, we've got full ultimates up on both sides. Angelic Splendor waiting in the wings. An Enraged Abyssal Dragon to be picked up by the members of AHQ, even through the curse. They should still be able to do this. They are so far ahead. They do so much damage. It's basically got 4 items across the board on everybody. Like,
well, this is still just an admission of defeat here if you're Basin, though. How are you going to kill them if you have no damage?
I mean, you can't... I mean, you'll kill them if you never die.
No, but you won't, though. But
as far as strategies go, this in the like, if he had one more damage item, I would accept the Aegis as a proper adaptation. But there's some pressure on the Sun, Malleus away. But yeah, no, there's Basin is a man has the effectiveness of a pool noodle right now.
Exactly.
Like he does literally like.
I'll take the pool noodle actually.
Dare I say it? Thane does more damage than he does right
Thane
now.
Has a big sword.
That is the situation. That is the situation we are in. But this is going to be the high ground siege coming out from HQ 4. Gets ripped apart, dived in, and that's going to be Rush picking up 1. AHQ will continue their siege. They've got the Drake in the bottom. Basin steps forward. Power surges are aplenty. Chaser gets hit with a little bit of damage, but you ghost walked Basin. You, sir, were dead the moment that ultimate came out, and you didn't have it to escape. Eventually, these towers are going to go down. This looks like a foregone conclusion. AHQ look impressive right now, and they should easily be able to close this out. The tower will drop.
Oh, Flicker Dark
Dominion! They got them all. They blow them up. Easy will be the last to fall. What a play from Zill. What a play from Rush, Hawk, Chaser, J-Jock, and Sun. That was 5 X-Factor players.
Finally, AHQ has a dominant series. Not a dominant game 1 into some flimsy games after that. A dominant series. They take out HKA. Granted, HKA looks like the worst team in the league right now. As you can see on their faces, they are not happy about it. But AHQ, this is what we needed to see from them. We didn't need to see another barely get through it, going through the motions, by the skin of their teeth, winning a match. We needed to see domination, and we finally got it from them.
Yeah, that looked like the best team in the world. That right there looked like the champions from AWC. Like, that looked like a team you can't handle. And they did it in such convincing fashion. And what's most impressive, and I don't want to hate on him for this, but they did it without Sun. With the exception of that one flank, Sun was effectively a slow play on that island. He didn't have a matchup he could really dominate, but it didn't matter. The rest of AHQ stepped up, and the moment Sun was necessary, he just sat there in the corner and bided his time until he saw his time, his opportunity.
And
you can do that without Sun's gravity? That's huge.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge there for AHQ. But we talked about it. We talked about Murad maybe being not the best pick, and I think that 10% damage for Outcast here kind of proves our point in a way.
Yeah, the Murad, he's not bringing enough to the table right now. I think if teams are going to play him, they need to come up with a new way to get him through their farming, similar to what we saw them do for Rush. They expended extra resources to get him an accelerated jungle timing. He gets ultimate, walks up to 4, tornadoes him at level 2.
I love how in both games, the timing from AHQ was so perfect that Outcast was on level 3.9 and they took advantage both times, which was absolutely insane. But take a look here at Hawk. Really could have gone to multiple heroes, could have gone to Chaser, could have gone to Hawk, could have gone to J-Jock here, but Hawk takes it down, had the plays, had that one play in mid where he took down 2 and decided to take a fight with a monkey afterward just for fun.
Yeah, no, that is definitely worthy of. Yeah, that play is worthy of getting the key player there. It was that play could have gone pretty badly for them. That could have been a moment where HK got a reprieve from the pressure of AHQ. Had he gone down, had they been able to pick up a kill or 2 and get out of there, that would have been gold onto the Lindis. That would have possibly gotten her to one more item. You never know. So I think that that him making that kind of god tier play just put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. So, AHQ, going forward, big win against HKA. And again, it wasn't because we expected them to win. The way in which they did it was most important here. And it puts the pressure back onto SMG to take down MS in a similar fashion. Now, later this week, AHQ is going to go against a diminished Flash Wolves, who, if they're not playing Shishi, if somehow Shishi is unable to play once more, do not look like the Flash Wolves we're accustomed to. And that could be a big match, particularly if one can throw both SMG and AHQ a bone and take out Flash Wolves tomorrow. So,
oh yeah, Flash Wolves could very much fall apart. We could easily see Flash Wolves in 4th place.
Very possible. Well, by very possible, I mean it is possible. Based on the math alone, it's difficult, but based on what these
performance, based on performance and the trends we have been seeing, this we would never have said this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, not at all. So, that is what's at stake here, especially if you want to avoid SMG in the first round. Certainly AHQ wants to get into that second spot if they can. But the big news here, AHQ is in the playoffs. They're at 8-5. The worst they can do is 8-6, and one team in Mad Team, the best they can do is 7-7. So AHQ, they are in the playoffs. You're going to see them compete and potentially have a chance to win this league. I'm not going to say anything about AIC because I think they might get in anyway because they're Korean. And
yeah, we still don't know how that breaks down.
Actually, I was trying to read the rules.
I don't think they do.
No, I was reading the rules, and I believe they can't get an AIC spot through this tournament. I think they're just competing in it just because.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that. So I think if AHQ wins, then the second place team goes.
Huh.
Which would be really interesting because if J Team gets the first seed and AHQ gets to the finals, then J Team's automatically in.
Yeah, that's a little wonky.
But it makes it so that getting the first seed is really important. So that's certainly something. But I believe that's how it is.
Interesting.
I was reading the rules and I think that's what it said. So since they're not actually Taiwanese, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that is something to be thought about, especially with Korea spending all their time with Honor of Kings now, which they actually had a major league announcement. Or the 30 million was invested into the Honor of Kings League, Honor of Kings League expansions. So that's cool.
Time to download Honor of Kings as well in the West, which is kind of Arena Valor anyway.
Yeah, I really hope one day we find a way to merge the two. I'll take them Chinese characters. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, but unfortunately a lot of
I don't need Batman.
We can give away Batman for something else. All right, looks like we have an interview with Hawk. I'm going to go ahead and let this run. And when we come back, we will have SMG versus Monster Shield. So stick around, guys.
一起打声招呼。
大家好，我是 HQ 中路 Hak。
哎呦，中文非常非常好。其实刚 Hak 有跟我讲说他有一点紧张，因为这好像是他第一次受到就是邀请，然后到台上来访问。所以有喜欢 Hak 的朋友们，等一下给他一个掌声好吗？那我们这边呢，要先来问一下，就是 HQ 们。那我们这边想要问一下，就是其实我们的比赛已经例行赛来到了最后一周，但其实我们可以看到 HQ 的表现。 第一轮其实是非常非常亮眼，可是到第二轮好像是有一点点状况，是 Meta 的适应吗？还是有一些角色池的问题？你们自己觉得呢？
첫 번째 라운드에서는 그 좋은 성적을 보여줬는데 두 번째 라운드에 이제 좋지 않은 모습들이 자주 보였었는데 그거에 대한 원인이 무엇이라고 생각하시는지 궁금하시다고 하시고요.
아무래도 저희가 이제 리그를 처음 뛰어보는 거라서 첫 번째 라운드 때는 이제 체력적으로도 많이 힘들지 않았고 정신적으로도 힘들지 않았는데 두 번째 라운드부터는 이제 다들 지치는 모습도 있고 힘들어하는 것 때문에 좋은 성적이 안 나온 것 같습니다.
第一轮的时候，其实他们心理上的压力跟身体上的压力还是存在的，因为刚打完世界赛回来没多久就参加了联赛，所以第二轮的时候可能这些问题会爆出来，所以才会影响成绩吧，他觉得。
所以就是其实刚打完世界赛，然后接下来再打联赛，对你们的负担是有一点大的，有一点没有休息的感觉，是不是？
没错。
了解了。那其实接下来呢，HQ 在这届的表现虽然说不是很好，但是其实也有把握了他们该把握的场次，有进到，应该是已经87%可以进到我们的季后赛。那这边其实有一些游戏上的问题，也想要请问一下，就是在这2场比赛，我们可以看得出来，当今的 Meta OP 角，比如说瑞克，比如说古木这边，其实 HQ 有机会可以选下古木，在刚刚的 BP 当中，为什么2场接下来都没有选下古木呢？
이 두 경기를 보자면 루크와 고목이 다 픽을 할 수 있었던 기회가 있었는데도 불구하고 우리가 루크를 밴을 해버리고 고목을 픽하지 않았던 중요한 이유가 무엇인지 궁금하시다고 하십니다.
일단 로코는 되게 좋은 챔인데 저희 이제 서로 양 팀이 밴을 했기 때문에 안 가져가는 거를 택했고, 고목 같은 경우에는 이제 처음 나왔을 때는 상대하기 다들 힘들어해서 밴을 했는데 이제 다들 내성이 생겨갖고 고목을 이제 상대하는 방법을 알아서 이제 열어서 상대를 한 것 같아요.
古木就是古木，古木啊，很可爱。
古木的话，其实这个角色是可以处理的，他认为，并且出来有一段时间，所以解法也已经出来了。但是瑞克呢，目前我们还没有找到他的一个解决方法，所以我们选择把这个角色给搬掉。但古木呢，就是故意放给他们之后，让他们选这个角色，我们选更好的阵容拿出来。
所以其实不选古木这个角色，因为我看大家其实主播赛评有讨论一下，不选古木的这个原因，主要是因为 HQ 已经有办法可以针对古木了。然后也可以顺利的拿出，就是故意放出来让对方拿，然后自己选一个 counter 角色或是阵容去针对就是了，是这样子吗？
是的。
是。那我们这边还想问一下，除了古木这个点之外呢，其实我们也看到 HQ 在第2场的选角的时候，看到了你们似乎在赞尼尔还有在超人之间有一个选择。那其实主播赛评这边也讨论了很久，最后选择赞尼尔的原因是什么呢？
두 번째 경기에서 마지막 픽에서 슈퍼맨이랑 제니엘 둘 중에 하나를 선택하기 위해서 고민하는 모습이 좀 보였었는데 그거에 대한 원인이 무엇인지, 그리고 마지막에 제니엘을 픽을 하게 되었는데 그거에 대한 이유는 또 무엇인지 궁금하시다고 하십니다.
슈퍼맨과 제니엘 두 픽 다 이제 저희가 사용하기 좋은 픽이었는데, 저희가 이제 남은 영웅들이 진입을 할 때 추가적으로 힘을 실어줄 수 있는 픽이 제니엘이라 생각해서 픽을 한 것 같아요.
因为詹尼尔是更加符合我们现在已经拥有的一些角色的阵容，然后搭配起来，詹尼尔更好一些吧，所以我们选了詹尼尔。
你们觉得赞尼尔其实可以更全面性，就容错率可以稍微高一点，这样子是吗？
是的。
原来是这样。所以其实在这个 BP 的当中呢，各队伍的不管是教练还是选手，其实都是绞尽脑汁在做这些决策上面。那最后其实也可以看到，他们最后的决策，不管是放出了古木，或者是选下赞尼尔，其实都是让他们最后是取得了胜利的。那我这边想要问一下，因为就是在开赛之前呢、HK 的中路 EZ 其实有聊到，就是 Hak 这一位中路选手，对于 EZ 来说，他觉得 Hak 是非常非常强的一位中路选手。那 Hak 自己本身觉得 GCS 里面最强的中路选手，自己会想要给谁呢？或是就是他自己吗？
HK의 이제트 선수가 미드라이너인데 그분이 하기 미드라이너가 엄청 잘한다고 평가를 한 적이 있었는데요. 그렇다면은 하기 선수는 GCS에서 제일 잘하는 미드라이너가 자신을 제외하고 누구라고 생각하시는지?
GCS는 이제 미드라이너 포지션을 가진 분들은 대부분 되게 다 잘하는 편들인데, 이제 최근에 만나본 상대 중에서는 이제 한조 선수가 되게 많이 잘하고 있는 것 같아요.
GCS 其实这个联赛很难打，而且是中路的选手的实力都非常的强。不过呢，我要选择一个选手的话，我还是选择한조。
한조是有说原因吗？还是有说什么原因吗？
어떠한 원인 때문에 한조 선수를 선택하게 되었는지.
저번에 이그니스 쓰는 거 보고 잘 쓰던데.
上一次看到他的活法真的是太强了，他说。
哦，是那个拉兹吗？
活法，就是那个一梗丝，
一梗丝，好，了解了。好，那我们这边呢，非常的恭喜 HQ 这边呢是拿下了这一个 match 的胜利。那么这边其实应该也是蛮确定可以晋级到季后赛，希望大家也可以帮 HQ 继续加油，好吗？那今天呢，这一次是 Hak 第一次上台，那我们这个所有的观众朋友们来给他们一点热情，给他们一个热情的掌声，好吗？恭喜 HQ 这边 ，Congratulations。好的，那我们这边的第一个 match 呢是顺利的结束了。我们接下来的第二个 match 是要由 SMG 来对上 MS。我们这边来休息一下，广告之后马上带给大家第二轮的比赛喽。
Come on, no need to break for me. Come on, no need to cry for me. Don't need to run. This is my own place. No one's gonna break me.
In buff. In buff. In buff. In buff, we trust. Buff 能量饮料含花青素双效登场。开车的时候有 Airwaves 在手，随时随地让你觉醒一下。
这里
来重新要进场，我这边被推开了，哇，这个关键，哇，这个推的非常漂亮，为这个绳子一推。
不过整体让 SNG 的经济成长之后，这就是 SNG 最想要的。
没错，
他们塔目前不急着拆，只要让科学面老爷飞起来之后，就是 OP 的存在。
就是 OP， 而且 Hanzo 是站在了 JJ 的面前打伤害。
对，他就是一个站桩法师的概念。
他真的是这样的法师。
感觉我觉得在 HK 这边的人就是已经分散，有点乱掉了。那后面起来真的选择打古墓拉断，古墓现在就要把古墓秒了。
哇，这一个极限圈接的非常的好，
我完全没有让他有机会开自然领域，完全不给机会。
关于真正一开有推到2名成员，威胁的话刚刚用一发
这边推了哇，
推的很好哦。
这边插了一下哇，
插了一下，有这个波动拳准确拿到 Neo 的人头。
哇，这就是花林！
哇，花林这进攻1推3呐！
这是花林式的进攻。
打的局面下的话，雨中差一点点要把 OK 的给打掉了，暴雷拳直接做进场，升量拳一拳直接把对方的莫拉给带走了。黑子再一次的碰，这个波动拳直接把金娜给带走了。现在嘎内怎么样？回头一拉。
总共
再一个
KO
3
3拳，
是
这个操作搭配上这个 Benny， 前
好
面的
流畅啊！
对。
Hello， 大家好，我是 JT 辅助 Benny。美娜比较适合小心机的人玩，因为要做拉打、迂回的动作，跟其他辅助比较不一样。美娜比较适合搭配的是射手阵，比如说搭配景、兔子都还不错，因为适合保牌。搭配景是最强的，因为我只要保好输出点位，我们就可以做好可攻可反打。美娜最重要的观念就是紧盯对方、输出，还有团控角色。随时预判他们进场的动向，然后我再来做一个反开。团战的时候，我会跟我方打野保持一个瞬移的距离，等待对方刺客随时进场，我再做一个反开黑暗意志的动作。美娜的 combo 是我会先助跑，再做瞬移，再黑暗意志，再做勾来做一个开战。如果是反开的连续技的话，就是捏着黑暗意志，随时等待对方打野或者是刺客进场。黑暗意志之后，再做勾的动作，保护我方输出。一开始玩美娜的挑战者们比较容易犯的错就是错估前期的坦伤，因为它不像其他辅助一样那么坦，所以前期要做拉打，然后再做2次进场。我觉得什么时候适合出美娜，就是当查克纳尔被禁用掉的时候，然后对方打野又是射手，那我会推荐出美娜，因为它是可以保牌又可以重牌的角色。美娜的出装顺序是风魂文章、游荡者之靴、德鲁伊战甲。我觉得这2件是对美娜可以弥补她前期过于软，做拉打是蛮有帮助的。再出一个圣骑战队，然后再出一个仙灵吊坠，最后是出一个反甲。我觉得特别一定要出的装备就是风魂文章，因为这个辅助装备其实 CP 值是很高的，它45秒可以加1次跑速。然后再搭配德鲁伊战甲的话，其实前期跑速是非常的快。美娜的跑速快，可以做一波开战，因为让对手反应不及，我就可以做一波开打。我们一开始先做一个扣龙的动作，听到拉兹说蝙蝠侠在他的附近，我立马果断放龙，靠近拉兹做一个2技能的预判。当他露头，立刻放开技能，并释放黑暗意志控住蝙蝠侠。
哇，被拉了回去！但是 Benny 及时一个出口，加上黑暗意志，直接炒起来。
缴完所有技能后，我先往后等技能 CD， 再做2次进场与会战。看到他们3人集结想逼中塔，我做防守点位，保护我方防御塔，先清理兵线，愚人开大进场。等他们照进还想强杀情况下，我使用黑暗意志搭配2技能，将他勾到塔下。承受塔的伤害，吃好吃满。此时状态没有很满，我们决定后撤。这时看到纳克进场，我使用2技能往纳克勾去，虽然没勾中，但也避免纳克罗斯靠近后排。最后搭配队友的高输出，成功收下对方人头。辅助位由我来 carry。
Come on. No need a break for me. Come on. No need a cry for me. No need to run. This is my own place. No one's gonna break me.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the GCS Unofficial English Broadcast. I am D2. With me is the source. The source we just saw, AHQ, take out HKA, and I'm glad I never have to say those acronyms in succession anymore. But coming up next, we have SMG versus MS, and can SMG keep pace with AHQ and match them in record?
I very, very much think so. The last win that Monster Shield had was against HKA, a faltering HKA. Are those the dates for the playoffs?
It seems like it. Wait,
the
21st is the last day of the regular season, so that doesn't make sense.
So what's the 11th? Or the 3rd of November? What does that mean?
Well, the top says championship. That part says something like Taiwan City something in the center of the Taiwan City or something like that. And again, I only know Japanese. I don't know Chinese. So when I try to read those characters, it's like I think it means this, but yeah.
Either way, as I was saying, Monster Shield's most recent win was up against HKA. We did just see them get beat pretty badly by AHQ. So, not to say that Monster Shield hasn't been growing, hasn't been improving, but SMG is on a tear. They are unstoppable, and I don't see Monster Shield getting in their way.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is when you have such confidence that SMG has. We'll take a look at their members right now. No changes, obviously. Liang, Chi-Chi, Hanzo, Serenia, and Genji. Liang in particular, just... In my book, he might have taken the throne away from Sun as best side laner in the world. But you think it's blasphemy, obviously. But in any case, SMG, when you get to this point and you're so confident that you're just styling on any and all comers, it really doesn't matter because every pick you make in the draft, there's no hesitation when you're picking. Even if you lose the draft, you're like, well, okay, fine, we can still beat them. Once you get to this point, it's hard to lose. And even though Monster Shield is pretty plucky, I think this is going to be 2-0.
No one's got that much pluck. No one has that much pluck. I mean, they have had some very impressive miracle wins. They've brought a lot of fight to the table, but SMG is just too good. And to the point of Liang versus Sun, like I said, Liang just busted down the doors to the throne room. He's staring at Sun sitting on that iron throne, and his sword is raised. Like, Liang is on the path to, like, this is beyond a challenge. We're in the middle of the fight. We're in the middle of seeing where these two, especially with an evolving meta, especially with what we just saw out of Sun. Sun just played very patient. He just played very standard. He did not go full Sun gravity mode. He didn't draw as many people to him. Chaser really played that role in that matchup. And we just saw Sun play when he was on the Xenio. He played it to, I'm going to wait for the right time to flank. I'm going to show up when I need to. He gave up one death, and that's all right. What we've seen in Liang is a significantly more proactive style of play. He's drawing more aggression. He's taking over that role from Sun. So if he continues to do that, I will be happy to hand him the crown myself.
Well, we're taking a look at Monster Shield at the moment. Looks like Mori has dyed his hair purple, which takes away a little bit of his synergy with MG. They both had the dark hair, or the orangey hair, but does make him easier to tell apart as they looked quite alike.
I don't know, Mori's got a pretty infectious smile. That guy is always smiling. Even when they're losing, he seems to still, like, keep his spirits up.
Right, and one re-dyed his hair. It looks like Cuckoo has dyed his hair brown. It was black before, so MS they have the hair dye ready, and we're only waiting for Wei to hop aboard the dye train, apparently.
Yeah, the full spectrum of color. Like, if they could, I'd love, well, random obscure thing, but there was this one K-pop group that had not a debut, but they had a song a couple weeks back where each one of them had a different colored hair. And when I say different color, I mean like blue, green, yellow, orange, red, like really solidly vibrant. So I'm seeing that out of Monster Shield. I'm like, yeah, you guys should just like go crazy. Add the colors for the last couple of games.
Well, it's certainly good for their brand because I remember Monster Shield's players way more than I do Mad's players, for instance.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of just standing out, and I do hope to see them improve. Do they have a chance to get back in? How does the relegation system work for this, or will we not really know that till next year?
I'm not totally sure. I haven't looked at the rules for that consideration.
Either way, I hope to see Monster Shield again. I hope whether or not, I would love for this team to stay together because they seem to have a good general chemistry with each other even when they're losing. I'd just like to see these players succeed.
Yeah, I'm looking at the spring championships, and there are only 7 teams, so they just expanded to 8. So it feels like a situation where they're only going to accept high, like, kind of corporate teams, you know? Because
maybe.
Yeah, and not just any sort of qualifiers or what have you. So I think it's up to the corporate teams themselves to shake up the rosters for new blood to get into the league. Is my guess. But in any case,
we'll see.
Monster Shield, they have some solid players between Wei, One, and Mori. I believe those are their 3 stars essentially, and getting a bit propped up there by Cuckoo as well, doing his best in that new role that they have on the team. They're doing pretty well. We'll see if they could put a scare into SMG as we're starting off our bans here. And right off the bat, a Roxy ban, which was completely different from last draft.
Yeah, that might have been... I'm likely to attribute that to priority on different picks for different teams. Like that,
Right.
That actually seems fairly stylistic. Sun and Chaser probably don't play as much Roxy, so they probably didn't care. And I think that HKA wanted more proactive lanes. Roxy's a little passive until you're looking for Agni's grasp.
All right, well, the fact that Roxy and Yeboneth were in the bans allows both Crickneck and Lindis to come through. So we've seen Crickneck almost universally banned in our past few matches, so we'll see how well SMG is able to play it. Now, when Crickneck came bursting onto the GCS, it was Neil who really made him work on the side of GAT, but I am certainly excited about this possible pick coming up here. Will we see the Liang Emily once more? He dominated a matchup against Sun on Richter in a match that we saw last week. Can we see him dominate once more? And I'm excited because I was thinking there was a possibility that Emily was maybe a Richter counter, but looks like they are not afraid to pick it early in the draft and dominate.
Yeah. And, like, if you guys are unfamiliar with Emily, you haven't played her a lot, or you haven't seen anyone play her competitively, that's because no one's been able to figure out how to play her, and this patch she got a buff. So for all of you guys out in North America and Europe who are waiting for this patch to come through, the patch is just finished up on your server. I actually haven't checked. This is a new development on a patch that we've been on for a couple of weeks now, and again, Emily looks like this interesting pocket pick. If it works against other things, we're going to see another massive shift in terms of draft priority, because also we're working on a new draft system. This is a snake draft. There are more bans. We've seen last week, we had moments where every single side laner was banned. Like, 8 side laner bans. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. But one thing I want to talk about is that the only part of her kit that's been buffed is her ultimate. Her combo got buffed a tiny bit. It's a 1-second cooldown, but that's not that big of a deal. So Liang had to have been workshopping this for a while, because yeah, you have a better team fight presence now, but to be able to dominate someone in lane, you can't rely on your ultimate because it's such a high cooldown. So that means Liang has been working on this, and the fact that he's showing Emily means that this by itself could bring Emily up in the meta and kind of raise her strength overall as people learn how to play with her, since more people will be on her.
I'm definitely excited. But to analyze the rest of the draft, we ended up with MS getting the Raz. They ended up banning at the Liliana, so they're trying to put a pinch onto SMG's mid lane. Hanzo has shown plenty of heroes. I do hope he avoids the Crixie. Well, if anybody could still do it with the Crixie, I'd be fine with that. But like, I think that there are some other options for SMG to get more creative, especially with how much hit and run they have, how much dive they have already. They can easily blow up Mori and Wei and probably MG with this composition.
A lot of times we clamor for the Natalia because of how people in the GCS are more or less ignoring her, but in this particular situation, because of the amount of I think this is fine. Going for the Toon is fine here because of
a good answer.
The amount of mobility that SMG has, just giving them the runaround and picking off heroes left and right is what SMG.
I'm not as sure about the Malik though.
Yeah, the Malik.
There's that Hanzo love in the stands.
Yeah, absolutely. What SMG is thinking about is perhaps they need a beefy front line, especially to be able to go in with Chi-Chi when he dives in on the Crickneck. So, I suppose that's the reason why they go for that. Obviously, Serenia Malok is his favorite. Perhaps SMG was telling him to pick someone else. He's like, no. I'm playing the
No,
Malok.
you can't make me. I would have liked Xenio there. Xenio would have been kind of my better answer because he still meets that dive criteria, but brings a little bit more safety. With how much this team could be clumped up, I feel like Angelic Splendor would have gotten more value there. That's kind of my only real gripe with the Malik in this situation. Now that people have learned not to pick Malik into Marja, I'm less like, I get less tilted by it, and we are going to see the Zill coming out for not Mori.
Well, if...
Yeah, Mori. Yeah, Mori.
Yeah,
Mori. I was like,
Mori's
Mori
jungler.
jungles.
Yeah, Mori's their jungler.
I was like, no, Mori's their support. Mori's playing the Thane, but that's Cuckoo's Thane.
Right. I think we have seen Mori on support. I think they switched him off to jungler a couple of weeks ago, so that's why it's confusing. But if Serenia could play it, I would actually like to see the Kilgroth there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But in any case, I'd like this pick here onto the Zill because it moves Lindis from the jungle to the lane. And that's part of the nice thing about picking Lindis is you can just as easily put her in the lane as you can in the jungle these days. And you can just flip your draft, right?
Yeah, she flexes really well. She's probably, now that I think about it, probably the
best flexer.
Lindis, she's probably one of the best flex, especially, I'd also throw Zill into there now that we have Zill. Violet would have been a top tier flex before the nerf, but like really Lindis, Zill feel like the two number one flex characters to me because they both can kind of flip that switch and they don't have to change their play style too much to do it.
Well, the nice thing about Lindis as well is that if you pick her first in the draft, you put the fear of that jungle Lindis just wreaking havoc on your team into the other team, and you can force a certain type of draft out of them and then flip the switch and put her in the lane and kind of change what you're going for and keep them off guard. But that said, I think that SMG still has a very solid draft of their own. We'll see how this works. We'll see if one can take advantage of the fact that they have Lindis in that lane here. We'll get ready and raring to go.
Yeah, I would say that Monster Shield has significantly grown on me. Their coach has shown a real understanding of how to adapt his draft for his players, how to help bring them back up. This is going to be a good steal if MG can actually get this blue buff away. That would be huge for them.
Yeah,
but
we're looking at the mini
kind
map.
of
Yeah, the mini map right here. Yeah.
He's yielding it.
Well, you saw the Liang. Liang was like, guys, he's not here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they realized it pretty quickly. But I think SMG wins this because I've got a lot of faith in Liang, and you gave Chi-Chi Cricknack, and Cricknack should honestly be permabanned in this meta.
Right. Well, he has been thus far. We'll see if Chi-Chi can prove everyone right and dominate on the bug. As
those are huge playmaking opportunities you just handed to SMG.
Right, well, Hanzo and Genji trying to get in there. Mori doesn't have level 4 quite yet, so I'm not really sure. I guess he doesn't have any more monsters to pick up here, which is curious. I didn't really see.
I think he might have shared some experience with someone,
right?
Or someone accidentally stole some, because we literally saw in the last series what happens if you get a Zill to level 4 before anybody else. But here comes Chi-Chi sneaking into the back. He's looking for one. He's going to instantly dive on top of him, has the slow. They're going to get the knockback, trying to keep Cuckoo from being able to get in there. They will manage to finish him off with one cleave. That'll go over to Serenia. Quick and clean goes those assassin level 4 ganks from the junglers. It's literally a script. You set it up, you find the opportunity. There are no wards in this game. You need to be omnipresent of the fact that every single assassin jungler is looking for that opportunity.
On the one hand, that was a little bit greedy from one, not using his flicker right away. But on the other, I can see where he's coming from with the Abyssal coming up right now, and perhaps you need that to dodge. He didn't think he was dead. Perhaps he should have thought
play
he was
on
dead.
top?
Oh, hello.
Yeah, Liang has proven me right.
Well, Hanzo helped out a little bit, but yeah.
True. Hanzo was coming in for the possible execution, but Liang had him on the run. And this is where I think SMG wins this matchup straight up. They're going to win top, and Cricknack is going to be an absolute problem for MS because 3 given 4 with MG, as I said during the draft, are vulnerable to that Cricknack burst. It is a dangerous time to be a member on Monster Shield, and Liang is showing that. Like, I wish we could watch that matchup a little bit more, but Liang is very much showing that he has mastered Emily. He took her into the lab and he did all of the math and he figured out exactly how to play her.
Yeah, we've seen him like in his stream. I haven't really personally watched it, but I've seen him in games here and there, on VODs on YouTube where he's playing Emily, and this is from a while back, so he's certainly had that practice on there. Here comes a shock from Serenia, not going to do a whole lot here. And it's a little bit of zoning as SMG tries to go onto this Abyssal Dragon, but not going to help out too much. Cuckoo's pushing back Genji. Genji still has that Metamorphosis. Is he going to have to use it? Uses it now. It doesn't actually go off. It looks like he
Cancelled.
Oh. How is that even...
I think
That's not a thing in this game.
But we saw the animation start.
Yeah, but when that gets canceled...
That was a weird interaction. That might have just... Maybe it was a pixel interaction.
That was so bizarre.
Yeah. Because then it just randomly came out.
Right. I'm so confused. In any case, they do...
Anyways, middle of the team fight. A lot of damage coming through.
Wow,
That's actually Wei setting up a huge play, but there's too many members from SMG, and they wipe them. Wei sets up the opportunity, but it doesn't matter.
That's one of those situations...
That's gonna hurt.
That's one of those situations where instincts get the best of you. You see a team that's clumped together, that just use their abilities. They were right for the nice juicy uppercut, but you don't have the members there, and you don't have the gold either, and end up getting taken out yourself. That is nearly a 3,000 gold lead here for SMG, and they are taking it to MS at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know why that Metamorphosis thing looked the way it did. Maybe we're just crazy, but...
Is there zero cooldown on it? Was it only rage? Because if it's only rage, then getting it canceled out means you can use it again like that.
Maybe.
Normally, when you get something canceled out in this game, it doesn't go on like a 10-second cooldown like in HOTS. It just gets canceled for the full cooldown duration. But hold on,
I'm honestly not sure. It might have just been a visual effect, and we got confused. But either way. A little bit of pressure from SMG out of this bottom half of the map. They put a little bit of damage onto the tower, but just waiting off in the wings. And I feel really bad for Wei off that last play, because if anybody else had been there to do a little bit of damage, I think they could have gained advantage off that. And we do see SMG continuing to pressure this bottom half. They're looking for every opportunity to dive one. They may still even dive him. They drop him to half health off of just the drone drop and a little bit of extra damage. And now they should be able to easily take down this tower. SMG setting up the pressure where they want it and just continuing to push the limits. And now they're going to get the Abyssal Dragon as well.
Yeah, it's funny how much damage that terrifying playing on the back end did to one. And not only that, but the auto attack afterward does even more. So it just goes to show what kind of burst you can get as Crickneck here. Just completely owning this side. Building up to a 3,500 gold lead here for SMG. Pushing around the members. Genji just being an annoying little shark man or firefighter, or I don't know. But he's doing work here, is the point. As they're just inside the faces of MS at the moment.
Yeah, and there hasn't really been an opportunity other than that one chance where maybe Wei and Mori could have picked up those kills. So far, they've been under pretty consistent pressure. The gold lead has already ballooned to a solid 4,000, and Liang has had no trouble up here in the top lane. The only time he's really gotten significant help was when Hanzo showed up to maybe snipe a kill. And goodbye, MG. They've got him dead to rights. Actually, no, he's gonna run away. He sacks the tower. They thought he might stay for that, so they'll get the free objective.
Oh.
Now a possible collapse into the middle lane.
Oh my god, Loki's curse just picked up now for Mori. That's very late on his side. Went for the boots and the Phoenix tier first. But yeah, MG gets away, but they get 2 towers, so I wouldn't really call that a win. Genji just kind of being annoying. The only thing MS can really take here are a few jungle camps, which not going to help them all that much overall. Wei and NG trying to hold on against 3, actually, over this top lane. as you see Chi-Chi waiting out in the bushes, trying to make something happen potentially. Now, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Genji and Serenia are two mad, angry monsters. And I'm not talking about the jungle monsters.
Oh, there comes a dive forward by Chi-Chi, but Cuckoo managed to slow them down a little bit. He'll eat a bunch of damage, get dropped to about half health. Serenia on the chase will be able to get the slow, but nothing to really convert with that. Now transitioning over to the tower, using the cleave on the minions. Eats a little bit of damage, gets knocked up. Cuckoo setting him some damage there. Mori may be able to finally get a play, but that's going to be a huge heal coming in from Genji. Now the turn. Wei is already gone because he got instantly obliterated. Liang finishes off Genji in the solo. Cuckoo is almost dead. Just like, we say you can't ban out Sun, but you best ban Amelie from Liang. He has now earned himself that character as a respect ban.
Absolutely. And just, when do you ever see an Omen be this scared of another melee hero in lane? It's just absolutely insane to see this. And I love the patience from Chi-Chi, by the way, in that last fight. He saw his teammates going down. He realized they might be in a little bit of trouble, but he says, you know what, I'm going to wait until the moment's right, and jumps in right at the last moment, takes on a kill, even though it was a 1v4 situation. Well, 3v4 with the members there, but just the patience here on Chi-Chi is working out fantastically for him.
Yep, 6k gold lead. Another Abyssal Dragon drops. Rage Abyssal Dragon will be coming up momentarily, so we can easily see SMG go back to that well and tap that for one more opportunity. Now we see some additional damage. Oh, God. Oh, no. MG, you were in the wrong place. Actually, a dive forward by Mori. That seemed a little ambitious, to say the least. And for now, SMG will just slowly continue to pressure out the members of Monster Shield. I don't really see a window for Monster Shield in this scenario.
Yeah, and it's getting scarier and scarier as we take a look at Hanto's build, just full damage. The only real hybrid build, you know, other than the Over the Magi, which everyone takes, is that Rhea's Blessing, which will give him that nice magic lifesteal as well as the panic shield once it gets to a certain point. But
the chase on Liang. They've brought in 4 members to deal with him, and he's still alive. Death's Embrace. They use the tornado. They use everything, but Liang survives. You can't bring him down with 4. Here comes the shock. Metamorphosis. 1 is down. Mori is caught. Every member from the side of Monster Shield is here, and they are dropping like flies. Chi-Chi dives in. Cuckoo is down. The pressure into the mid lane. Liang and Genji are doing this without minions. Now a wave up in the top. SMG have broken the base. Oh, you thought... You know what?
It was the debate.
I'm going to say it here. I said SMG, I think, are going to win the playoffs. I think they are going to grind through and win the playoffs. Liang has gotten a few steps closer to that throne, drawing 4 members in and baiting the whole team. He is on the footsteps up to the top of that throne. He is chasing Sun's legacy.
And this is essentially game over. It's 9 towers to 0 at the moment. And MS is going to have to deal with 2, normal run-of-the-mill super minions and 3 super-duper uber minions in the center of the map with those big shoulder pads coming through. This is an unwinnable situation here for MS.
This is becoming a significant problem, but they have... They caught Chi-Chi for a moment, but they don't commit around the corner. Genji was there.
It would take...
That could have been bad.
Honestly, it would take about 5 or 6 aces for them to win this game. That's how daunting this is because of those ridiculous super minions that man the center every single wave now. Honestly, the only drama is if SMG can get a perfect game. 0 deaths on their side thus far. 0 objectives taken here for MS.
I mean, I think they can do it. Chi-Chi's probably the most likely culprit to die right now, just doing something crazy. But no, they could very easily get this perfect game.
Even Hanzo has just all damage on his side, has picked up Hecate's item. He's just going to be just ripping through the members of MS. And I want to talk about what we just witnessed with Emily ganked 4v1 and not dying. That is the buff to her ultimate, which is Enrage. It used to be it blocked 80 damage from every ability post armor and magic defense, but now it's 100, and that's absolutely huge as MG is going to go down right away. Serenia's tanking through all this damage, Wei trying to push and trying to make the plays, but he's going to go down regardless. Chi-Chi, the first death for SMG, but doesn't matter. Look at the minions on the core. They're just taking it down by themselves. No big deal. And that is a dominant performance once more from SMG.
Chi-Chi, no, you feeder. You feeder.
The perfect game. No.
Chi-Chi.
Okay. Well, he made it happen in the first place. So.
No, that was good play from the side of SMG. Handing over Lindis doesn't... I don't think Lindis really matters when you hand over Kriknak. I think that matches out that pretty well. We saw how much pressure one was under from Chi-Chi's Kriknak, so that should definitely be a ban from Monster Shield. And then honestly, I think you've just earned 2 new first bans. You banned Kriknak Amelie. And let's just, think about what that means. It means up against SMG, this is the first, I want to say, true pocket pick respect ban, because we've had that kind of contention with the mages in the mid. Pretty much everybody has been able to play Lindis, and we've seen transitions back with those mages of Raz Liliana, some people taking away Raz because the player's great at it, but they can always filter back onto Lily. Nobody else plays Amelie.
Right. Exactly what you're saying, because a lot of the time when you're banning someone in the first 4 picks, it's this back and forth, this strategy of what do we let through, what do we let them have, and we saw it with the Kriknak Lindis in a situation where MS said, okay, you can have one, we'll take the other. It didn't work out for them, but that's something where they can play both of them. If the Amelie gets through, MS can't pick her. So it's so oppressive to have a hero that strong that your team cannot play. And normally we think of this as being disqualifying, like a reason why this team is not good, but it's the exact opposite. It's a reason why SMG just has this massive edge over every single other team, because they're making those teams look bad because no one can play Amelie like him, and they can wait on the Amelie until the 3rd rotation, which you can never do with a player or a hero that is that influential.
Yeah, and Amelie isn't even the biggest problem that teams are having with SMG. SMG has just been playing significantly more coordinated. Their drafting has gone up. Their Liang has stepped up significantly. The team is playing much, much better as a core. So you hand them a Kriknak in the bottom half of the map. That's just not a smart decision, because we saw Chi-Chi on level 4 timer instantly found himself a kill. Okay, you take away the Kriknak. SMG is still playing well as a team. Then you have to factor in Liang. This is the issue that teams had with AHQ, is you had this really core, powerful grouping between the mid lane and the support, between everybody else, and then you also had to deal with Sun. We're getting the same effect from SMG, just with some just throwing the Amelie in there. Yeah, no. Genji definitely tried to use it and it stopped. So I don't know what that was.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, and this no way. This looks so look at that. That could have been a great setup if one was there. If one was there in the middle of that, that's some kills.
And this is where Chi-Chi just jumped in after everyone else. He was like, okay, Genji's starting to take a little bit more damage, a little bit more. He's like, it hurts, boss, it hurts, just a little bit more. Then he jumps in and takes them out. This is where they jump the tower and take multiple kills down. But I want to talk about one more thing with SMG, because SMG in season 1, they zigged when everyone else zagged, or the reverse, whichever. They were playing heroes that no one else was playing, right? Like you had Hanzo on Kali. You had these weird niche heroes that no one else played, but they played better than anyone else. Season 2, it kind of got away from them, and that bled into season 3, where they're having this weird style that just didn't work. And now their quirkiness, their peculiarity, if I can say that word correctly, is coming back to them. They're picking heroes that no one else is picking, but it's working again because no one else can actually play them. And this time, they found something that works for them in that Amelie. And in particular, Hanzo is making it work in that mid as well. Doesn't need to be stuck on that backline mage anymore. Is able to get into those fights and make things happen, even on a Tulin when MS thought they had them outdrafted.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job of drafting ahead of the curve for sure. But even before they were doing that, they've shored up the rest of their play. Right. They're not just winning because they're quirky. They're winning because they're good, and it shakes you because they're quirky. Like
Exactly.
that's the special sauce in there. That's the like the extra English on that punch. That's really making it difficult for teams to rally back. Because if a team was just good, then it's like, okay, they beat us, they outplayed us, but we understood what went on. You throw in that extra bit of peculiar. I can't even say it.
It's hard, right? Peculiarity.
Yes, there we go. You throw in that extra bit of spice to their draft with something like the Amelie, a lane you didn't think you would lose. You probably thought that was a wash. You probably thought that was like, okay, this is even, and maybe Omen will do something stupid and win it for us. The Amelie is not the X factor here. Boy, were you wrong.
Well, let's take stock of this draft so far, as the Crickneck was banned this time, as well as the Ignis, Roxy, and Richter. That means that we're getting Yevoneth and Omen here. And are we going to see both?
They're sitting on the Amelie pick. They're sitting on it. It's going to hold. That's going to be a support Yevoneth. I'm calling that now.
Right. I was about to say, is it going to be Omen Amelie? Because that is terrifying. You absolutely dominate the side lanes and have Yevoneth patrolling the lanes as well. What do you do against that?
So DJ Yevoneth puts his hands together and says everybody clap. It's like one branching out, you're all done. Like Amelie's gonna walk in there, wreck you. The Omen is gonna hunt down whoever tries to get away. It's just it falls apart. I don't know. I don't know how you beat that amount of early oppression other than really high playmaking. Granted, Monster Shield's draft looks good. Monster Shield's draft looks great. Like that is. If this were any other scenario, I would be like, yeah, I like both drafts so far. Both drafts are pretty even. They both bring a lot to the table.
They are missing side laners. I wonder if SMG takes away a side laner that MS wants to play here, and then they just ban out side laners in the next banning phase, because this is a time where MS could utilize a ban on Amelie in this mid part of the draft, which is a lot less painful than having to do it in the first 4.
I would. Yeah, I mean, MS is going to have to ban it, which means that SMG, now that they've used this, don't need.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on if they actually pick this Superman.
I think they will. I think they just want to dominate and take away anything that MS can do in the side lanes, because MS needs 2 side laners now.
I would pick Raz and ban 2 side laners, but they are going to lean into the Superman. The only reason I was saying they didn't need to do that is because now that they've shown the Amelie is a threat, and if you leave that up as an option by taking the Raz, you force MS to ban the Amelie, and then you're able to take away more of their options without losing any of yours. But it's still fine. I really liked the Amelie, and I wanted to see more of it. Like, I wanted to see it into more matchups to get a better sense, but good on SMG for not necessarily going back to the same strategy multiple times and running it back, because they don't need to. They can prove that they can win on other strategies.
Right, and again, I think that if MS were capable of playing Amelie, they would have taken Amelie here. But what they're doing is just taking away as many side laners as possible. And MS is going for the opposite strategy, taking away mid laners. So you see from SMG, they pick the Superman, they ban out the Marja, they ban out the Kilgroth. This makes it extremely difficult for MS to match that side lane. And SMG, they do have 2 very strong side laners to their team. Now they only have to worry about the mid. And is MS going to ban a Tulin just to make it hard on Hanzo here?
I don't think that helps you. Hanzo will have something. SMG's got too deep of a hero pool.
They banned the Tulin.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work for you. I was right. We are getting the Yevoneth as a support. the Superman.
Even Crixie is fine here. We talk about crap about the Crixie, but it's fine. It's not like the worst.
I talk crap. I talk crap about Crixie. You're just like, yeah, Crixie's not that great, but I'm the one who hates Crixie. No,
Crixie still fine there. Yeah.
Crixie here is fine because there is so many other crowd control threats that she'll actually have time to use damage in between cooldowns. The biggest problem you run into with Crixie is there's a lull and a drop off in her damage after you've Moonfall, Mischiefed, and Nature's Fury once. Once you've used all of those, there's like a 3 to 4 second window where you're not doing damage, and that's where she tends to be a problem.
That
picking up the slims is fine for SMG. You've got Lubu
and Zill. So Zill is an adaptation here for the marksman jungler potentially. Yeah, they're gonna throw Lindis into the lane once more. By the way, that cell phone had something about Superman. I know that because Superman in Chinese is literally just super person, which makes me laugh every time. But here we go with the Necroth. I am not a fan of...
Oh, wait, no! Go back to the Zill!
Yeah, I like the Zill better too. I think they needed someone to be able to dive onto the Slims, but I don't think that he's going to be able to do all that much.
There's too much protection. Dear
Right.
God, there's too much protection. Like, you're going to need a proper team dive. Like, it has to be super coordinated.
And you can't blow someone up with Necroth, is my problem. What I really want to see now that they've gone for Necroth is to go for Soul Reaver. They need to be able to snowball this, and here we're going to see the Crixie it looks like. So, I do like going for the melee jungler here. I would just like to have seen, like, a Zephys, for instance.
Yeah, no, Zephys would have been the call, because then you can instantly guarantee you're gonna get on the slims. You can put significant pressure on him while still tanking in the early game. He has really, like, Zephys still has fairly good base damage up against squishy targets. Ooh, let's go Jinnar!
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot here. Because...
Ooh, you just said dive me, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, this is kind of ridiculous because Necroth has so few targets now. And the dive from SMG is going to be absolutely nuts. Genji pushing members into, or excuse me, Serenia pushing members into the Exuberance. Not to mention Genji popping that Nature's Realm, keeping everyone in place. It's going to be so difficult. And with only one target, it makes Mori's job so hard here.
I do want to apologize if people think we're being really biased for SMG, but basically at this point, Monster Shield cannot make playoffs. SMG needs to win this to make the playoffs, and we are starting to see such exciting play from them that I will admit I'm a little bit biased in SMG's favor. Also, I think that they have drafted better than, I completely agree with you. The Necroth is not going to do what is necessary, and the reason I like the Jinnar isn't their dive, it's the counter dive. It literally says, MS, let's see what happens when you pick this fight, because I don't think you're going to win it.
Well, Jinnar can get to a point where if he has Exuberance, he can 1v1 the Necroth as well. He can 1v1 all these Assassin junglers. So it's so ridiculous to have a mage who is capable of doing that. And it just makes it so hard on the other team to be able to deal with Jinnar. Granted, he doesn't have the kind of burst with his first two abilities that a lot of heroes have, but every 15 to 30 seconds, depending on the point of the game, he's going to be having that Exuberance off cooldown and causing havoc. Wow, that's a big pull on the Cuckoo. Oh my goodness, what in the world? Serenia showing off the plays at the beginning of the game. Wow.
Making a statement. Nothing is safe for you guys. The other reason I like the Jinnar is because it's not the Crixie. Because yes, the damage lull is even bigger, but the damage emphasis is huge, and Liang just asserting his dominance. Now I feel like Lubu wins that matchup at the end of the day, but I don't think it's gonna matter if Genji comes in and catches him. I don't know, Genji's only level 1. I was like, Genji, gonna Redwood Rush in there, gonna get the top tier flank, but no.
And doesn't have,
dear God,
he doesn't have execute either, so it's not like he could get in there and do that. But yeah, Lubu had a really big buff, and that was something I was about to mention in the draft here. Ooh, Genji is going to be aggressive here. Can they take him out? This is dicey, to say the least. Genji taking.
Oh, they got him.
Yeah, that was really nice because.
Oh.
That
was just perfectly balanced too, like that.
Yeah, it was perfect.
That looked easy.
Well, okay. What was perfect about it was Genji had to take the tower aggro first. And so he got in there perfectly, got the slap off, which meant that Liang had free reign for the most part to start finishing off that kill. And obviously, Ibanez himself has enough damage to potentially finish off as well. Ooh, Genji.
Genji
gets
walks
the
into
slap.
Fort, gets a really good knock together. He's going to survive. He gets the heal. Redwood Rush over the wall.
That, by the way, that's his own heal. That's how much he was trying to bait MS there. It's not like someone else came in and healed him. That's his own heal. So he got down to 10%, maybe even less health, because he wanted to bait out the other team. Knew he had the plays, knew he had the Redwood Rush and the clap in order to make sure that the other team stayed around there. So that was an attempted bait on Genji's side.
That's just too much, man. That's any other team, and that's a dead Ibanez. That's a possible second kill. That's a transition into Dragon. But up against SMG, it is nothing but a reminder of how hard it is to kill these guys.
Yeah, and it's so insane because Genji takes damage, just walks in the bush, heals right up. Here comes Mori and MG trying to go on to Liang here. Wow, very nice jump here onto them. Liang trying to hold on, but can't in the end. Hanzo's going to come in here with that exuberance, so Mori runs the opposite way into the waiting arms of Chi-Chi, and he gets taken down. So a side in there for a jungler here. Meanwhile, Genji in the mid lane. He doesn't have Nature's Realm. That's going to be a pushback with Cuckoo on him. Oh my goodness, he tries to get out of there, unable to do so in the end. But the fact that he stayed alive that long is kind of impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, still doesn't have level 4, so good on Monster Shield to be pressuring Genji at this point where he is most vulnerable. Find those kills, set him a little behind, put some gold into the pockets of your teammates. That kill up in the top was properly played from the side of Monster Shield. So they are being more proactive than they were last game. Their draft feels a little less oppressed in this scenario. They're getting the lane hasn't been assassinated because there is no assassin jungler, so banning up that quick knack. Here comes Hanzo looking for his opportunity. Spear out from Chi-Chi, but it looks like they're going to just turn that into an objective gain. They don't need to overcommit because they have that marksman jungler. Objectives are very much in their favor, but you do have Hanzo skulking around looking for his opportunity. Genji's going to step forward, starts to eat some significant damage. This could be a punish fight, but it will go over to Chi-Chi, and they do end up using the Nature's Realm just to secure some positioning. Meanwhile, on the top, Liang is just baiting two people and making them dive him in between the towers to proxy the waves. He is at about half health, but should be fine. He'll get some support from Genji now, but that was free objective, and yeah, Lubu positioned in a slightly dangerous spot, but it looks like he's going to be able to get himself out of trouble. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we do see this possible dive here onto Serenia. He's going to run around in circles, but doesn't end up cutting back, does go down, and eventually this tower will fall, probably in favor of Monster Shield unless there's an aggressive rotation. It doesn't look like Liang is down there to match out the Lindas.
I like this play a lot from MS, because they kind of pretended like they were going to be aggressive onto Liang, and that forced members of SMG to go top, and MS read that really well and just stayed in the bottom there and punished Superman for sticking around, knowing that he was low. So nice fake out there from MS, and they took advantage in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this definitely looks like a more calculated Monster Shield. Maybe the first game it had some jitters. It's still only slightly in their favor. Actually, no, they're behind by a little bit of gold now that some ways have been cleared. Game's basically dead even, but haven't seen a massive team fight. Hanzo has an opportunity to just obliterate a team, and I haven't seen anybody on Monster Shield look like they're going to be the one to pop off. Maybe it could be one. He does have 2 kills.
Ooh, Chi-Chi in a weird situation here. Mori, hello,
Chi-Chi,
no! Dark Tip gets taken down, potentially. No, there's a Redwood Rush and the Nature's Realm, and Hanzo goes down, takes out one. Yang's extremely low as well. Way's in trouble. Serenia takes him out. MG is trying to just fight 1v3 at the moment. Mori is coming on the corner as well. Can he jump onto Hanzo? He does get the knockoff onto him, but Hanzo's perfectly fine, and oh my goodness. Good night, MG. Serenia is trying to go for more. Dives under not one but 2 towers. Mori, what are you doing, buddy? Oh my goodness! From downtown, Serenia with the laser eyes takes him down. Mori sticking him out a little bit too long there, and Serenia makes him pay with the beautiful rush there from his side. Oh my goodness.
Serenia looked Mori in his optic stems, stared him straight in the eyes and said, I see you. What a play from SMG to turn that around. And this isn't done yet. MG going to get pushed back in. Great branching out. Red will rush forward to keep them there. Exuberance is in. MG should go down momentarily despite all of that sweet, sweet Lubu lifesteal and attack speed, and that's going to transition it into a top tower pressure. They do have some minions. If somebody steps up and tanks some of this initial poke damage, they should be able to protect the cannons, and that's going to be another tower going down from SMG. So what looked like a trap, what looked like a dead Chi-Chi, a dead Slims, turns into a massive flank from SMG. A great defensive play from Genji. 2 towers, and multiple kills.
I get the feeling that the players in Taiwan aren't exactly used to how quickly Exuberance comes right back up, because they were in there as if Hanzo wasn't going to do anything, but he's like, nah dude, I got my ult back up, let me show you, and just goes in and takes down MG once more.
This is what happens when all you think you can play when you don't have your optimal pick is Crixie, and here comes Hanzo into the backline. One completely obliterated by that Exuberance combo. The slow is on to Cuckoo. Goodbye, Cuckoo. Oh, it's just falling apart from the members of SMG. That is a good play there by MG, putting pressure onto Liang. This Lubu can't stand toe-to-toe with the Omen. Yeah, honestly, the Lubu buff, I think, when he's got that ultimate running, he can stand with pretty much every single top laner in the game. It's just the rest of Monster Shield is in a bad scenario. And meanwhile, while this tower is going to... Liang has pulled them in! Liang has baited them! Liang gets 1 kill! Will he get the second? He will! What a death beckoned over the wall. Perfect angle, perfectly lined up. Oh, Liang. Liang is walking up the stairs to that throne. He's walking up the steps of that dais.
Liang... How many times have you seen a snipe from an Omen Death Beacon just snap in the bushes, takes him down with just ice running through his veins as he does it? That's so ridiculous to see.
Liang got him with the flick of the wrist.
He's like, in the game and literally on his thumbs there, just so ridiculous.
Like there better be an instant replay cam of him just like pressing that, just like the hand goes up, just this flourish.
Absolutely. But MS trying to hold on here through all of that madness. SMG has obviously opened up a 7,000 gold lead, because after all those plays, you have to imagine that the lead has opened up here. But that is the state of the game at the moment. Chi-Chi and Liang working on this Dark Slayer. Gonna get it unless Mori can make a miracle happen.
He's looking for it. He's gonna get seen by Genji. Eats a spear!
Oh, good
Chi-Chi with the 2,000 IQ spear. He knew he would dash. He understood the nature of the Cricknack. He saw, the Nacroth, he saw the future of that assassin jungler's playstyle and just lines it up.
He turned over to Hanzo right after that, and he's like, hey, geometry, huh?
You're not the only one with simple geometry, bro.
Oh my god. And Hanzo just nod, and he's like, yes, it was simple though. It was simple geometry. Well, SMG is just SMG is just styling all over MS here. And
so I guess the question becomes,
Clavis Santi on Jinnar? What? Those magic crits! He's going for those magic crits.
Wait, Liang 1v5ing. Liang 1v5ing. He's still alive. He's surviving. Can he kill one? Can he? No! He doesn't manage to do it. But he was 1v5, and he still almost killed one. Here comes Serenia into the backline. Genji looking for an opportunity. Doesn't manage to connect to branching out, so I feel like this play is done. They finally bring down Liang, but it takes the whole army to take him out. You needed to send a battalion of tanks to kill this man.
You know what? All I can think about right now is Hanzo landing a magic crit. If you guys don't know,
we talked about this. We talked about this before. That magic crit build, I think it's real, and Hanzo's gonna show it to me if MS manages to survive long enough. He's gonna show me that double crit build. He's gonna build, I swear to God, Slick Sting.
oh my goodness! If you guys don't know, his passive when he gets it off, it does magic damage, and you can crit on it. And if you have your ult up, that means you're throwing passes out a lot. So he's going to be critting a lot whenever he pops Exuberance. Just look for those big purple numbers. It's going to be pretty funny, in my opinion. Oh, here we go. Goes in with the Exuberance. Oh, the purple number's 1840. You saw it here first. All he wanted to do was to see those big purple numbers on the screen, and he got it. Oh, my goodness, GG.
What a series from SMG. Yes, this is the bottom team in the league.
But they've been okay lately. So.
They've been doing better, and I think what we really got showcased was one, SMG playing really, really well. Like, they didn't falter at all. They didn't offer any opportunities. This is what you need to do against a bottom tier team. You need to crush them with impunity, without any misconception as to whether or not you are a better team than them. The second thing I think we got to see was how good drafting is from SMG. Because Monster Shield has shown better drafting over time, and you can see the first half of the drafts look good for Monster Shield, and then SMG just crushed them second half.
Yeah, nothing that Monster Shield could do. And with that, SMG are in the playoffs, joining AHQ there, and tying them in those standings, both at 8-5. Both Mad and one team cannot get into the playoffs anymore. As we take a look at our score screen here. Hanzo just dominating with that damage on the Jinnar. A pick we rarely see in this league, but something that I'm happy was brought out here when they were looking to go to the Crixie at the last moment, but switched over and made it work. It makes me think that, did SMG think of this themselves and just think, well, this might work? Or have they been watching other leagues? That's my question.
I'm going to say they probably have not been watching other leagues, and they were probably just going down their line of optional mages with the Jinnar. Because nothing else here is, like, you throw Crixie in there, and it looks like a standard draft you'd see in other regions. And yeah, other regions have been playing the Jinnar, but I want to say that they've really just, because they hovered the Crixie, they thought about it. I think that the GCS is slowly considering other mages.
Yep, and you see Serenia on that Superman just making plays happen left and right. They had a switch up where Serenia was having issues with the Lindis, so they switched over the Omen there for a moment there, but other than that, just creating havoc throughout the game. Hard to give a key player to any one player on the side of SMG because it was just cooperation, coordination, cohesiveness, any more C's you want to throw in there as they just completely shut down MS.
Calculated.
Into the mid game.
Yeah, no, that was really good play from SMG. We saw them not give. I don't think they gave up anything insane draft-wise because you know they can still play standard. It's not like they showed some pocket pick, sure, with the Amley, but we saw the Amley last week where they used it up against AHQ and beat Sun with it. So we already know that the Amley is a threat. Now we're seeing that the Amley is more than just a wild pocket pick. It is a legitimate strategy for them that you have to be afraid of. It's also now, like, their next game is the last game of the season. They now get to sit back and watch one play Flash Wolves. They now get to sit back and strategize for how they're going to beat one. And even with a diminished Flash Wolves, there's still going to be a challenge for one team. They're still going to draw a lot out of them. That's still going to be a difficult matchup. Granted, now that one team can't make the playoffs, I don't know how well they play. Because now they're playing with a little bit more abandon, maybe with a little less drive. So, we'll see.
Well, like you mentioned, the SMG and HQ are in the playoffs, and they can catch Flash Wolves, but Flash Wolves can also catch the number 1 team. So, looking at the situation, we have tomorrow J Team versus Mad and Flash Wolves versus 1. Now, Mad has looked reasonable lately. So, if they pull off the upset, then Flash Wolves has a chance to overtake J Team. Now, we've seen Flash Wolves completely stumble over the last week or so. And if they lose to 1, then that means there's a door open for both AHQ and SMG to take them over. So, really the team to watch tomorrow is Flash Wolves. Are they going to be able to potentially overtake J Team, or will they go the opposite direction and fall beneath SMG and or AHQ? That's going to be it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Come around this time tomorrow. Very short stream today because we had a couple of blowouts, but we like to see blowouts because we like to see good play overall, at least from one side of the equation. But we'll see you guys tomorrow. 2 days from now, we're going to be casting the RPL playoffs all day to see who takes that down. Very excited for that. And then on Sunday, we're going to have the last day of the GCS regular season. So make sure you come by, make sure you click that follow button so you can stick around, or so you can catch these broadcasts when we have them. And again, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow.